Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds. Welcome to Guy School Musical, a podcast about teenagers.
This is a 7-hour workday every time we do this.
Yeah.
Like I'm always like, well, on my day off, I guess we'll do this. I'll watch the movie or whatever. And then I realize it takes 3 hours to get through these fucking movies. That's the first thing. And then we're going to do a 4-hour episode or whatever, man.
Of course we are.
You know?
I mean, I don't know. The movie was 90 minutes, but I know what you mean where it feels
stop and make
much
notes.
Longer.
I stop and take notes.
Yeah. I guess I don't stop to. I did pause a few times. You're right.
Just to contemplate what we're seeing here.
It's hard, man. Yeah, sometimes I just have to stop and rewind, go like, wait, what was that?
Yeah, what the fuck was that? Exactly. Hey, so another very disturbing fact, Dave, and I need to make you aware of it. When I was watching that, like right before I clicked on this, I became aware of High School Musical China.
Yeah, that does not make me feel good.
It exists, Dave.
I'm Googling it.
Like,
High School.
Yeah, it's in 2010. Like, it wasn't that long after the first three. It was like
Disney
a year
High
or
School
two.
Musical China.
Yeah. We're going to have to do that now.
Yeah, we do.
What the fuck are we doing here, man?
It does not have a good rating.
No.
People did not like it.
This is going to be a wormhole. We're going to find out there's High School Musicals for every country. It's going to be... we're going to have to cut something off at some point. Like, are you going to want to watch High School Musical Denmark? Because I don't think I am, man.
There are so many fucking High School Musicals.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Fuck.
This shit's the Hydra. You know what I mean? Like, you cut off one High School Musical and 3 more spring up in its place.
There's a Brazilian spinoff.
No, is there really? Fuck.
There's High School Musical Get in the Picture. That looks like...
What is that? Okay, all right, shit. I gotta look at this.
It's a stage musical. So
no,
unless there's a live version...
Don't care about that. No, don't care.
Work This Out. High School Musical 2, Work This Out, is a musical adventure game. So you play as...
We're not playing the game, man. We're not doing that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Madison High?
I don't know. How could I be expected to know?
Okay, this was a pilot that starred the drama teacher, and it never got picked up.
Oh, dude.
That would have been amazing.
That feels like we might need to watch that, man.
Oh my fucking God.
Dave, this might be a 10-part series.
All right.
I thought we were done today. I was like,
there are 4 international spin-offs.
Holy crap.
There's an Argentina one, a Mexico one, a Brazil one,
and a China one.
Do
we have to watch
College
them all?
Dreams. Yeah, probably if they have subtitles. I guess if they don't, we could still watch them. They're making a 4th installment. At least that's what they talked about. Called High School Musical for the Reunion. It looks like
that's not happening, I don't think.
No,
that was an episode of the show, right?
That was an episode of the series, but they are talking about. So yeah, there's 4 spin-offs, and then there was Madison High, the pilot. And then there was High School Musical, the series. And then there was High School Musical Get in the Picture, which was the reality TV show. And then there was a live show. And then there was 2 stage shows.
Okay, for real.
The live show was different. There are...
Dave, we're not doing all that, man.
Hold on. There's a book series. Why would you have a book series?
How could you read a book musical? What does that even mean?
They did novelizations of the movies, of the first 3 movies.
So do you read the songs? Is it Shakespeare?
I guess.
What are we doing?
Series from East High, a series of novelizations. There are 13
You should see. This is the problem, Dave. We picked on
novelizations.
Disney. We decided to take Disney on, and like that was a huge mistake.
Right, and they're like, "Oh, you want a fucking
You
series?
want to mess with us, bro? We'll
Yeah.
make stuff forever.
Yeah,
like,
we're gonna
we'll-
fuck you all day.
Yeah,
We're Disney.
we will pump musicals out between words for you. You watch.
Yep. And there are several video games. High School Musical Sing It, which I assume you sing. Making the Cut.
Gotta.
Living the Dream. Work This Out.
This is
Senior Year.
this is atrocious.
Senior Year. They have
I-
2 High School Musical 3 video games. One called Senior Year and one called Senior Year Dance. Just roll those together. Have Senior Year Dance be a level
What's
in
the
Senior Year.
difference between those two things?
And then,
I
I'm sorry. There's another
Wow.
one. Disney Sing It High School Musical 3 Senior Year.
Okay, it's a thrill that you're doing this because I'm starting to get legitimately anxious. I'm like, wait a minute, man. Like,
Yeah,
so
we still
wait
have
a
a
minute.
fabulous adventure to talk about.
What are we gonna do here? Like, we're not gonna
we'll
watch
do that?
all that.
We'll probably do another batch of the international ones.
So you do want
I
to watch
think-
the international one?
I think we'll take a break,
Okay, all right, okay.
and then I think we can do Guy School Musical International, right? And then we'll do.
but still with the same, like so we're trying to get this done this year, right? Like, or do you want to take a long break?
This is rolling into 2025. Like this episode people are listening to
Yeah.
will come out in 2025 in the new year. So this is
Okay.
over 2024 into 2025, and then I could see us doing it maybe in the summer or something like
Okay,
that.
so
or maybe
take a little break and then do it.
yeah, I
Okay,
can
great.
I can
All
see
good.
that. We need enough time to forget.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need time
Everything.
to forget so that we can come back and be like, oh man,
Yeah,
and like
And try
have
to
have a
remember.
crystallized idea of what I remembered of Zac Efron.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like watch him try to get a Zac Efron and watch him try to get an Ashley Tisdale.
I agree.
Like I want that.
I
Because
want
none of them
that
made
too.
sequels. None of them took off, right? Because that was 15 years ago or whatever when they made.
what do you mean made sequels?
So there wasn't High School Musical in Argentina Part 2.
It doesn't seem that way. No.
So,
So
they
there'll
made
be
one
one shots. There'll be a series of one shots. One
like-
and done.
Well, it's not one and done because it's 4 and more.
Four
That's
and
what
done.
it is.
More and more.
Because this is our 4th episode, Dave. Do you
Shit.
understand? We just doubled our workload.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's fucked up, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll spread it out. The people crave this. They demand
I don't think they're gonna
High
crave
School
this.
Musical.
I don't think they need 8 episodes of this.
I think they do.
This is trash. This is the worst
I think
trash
they're
we've
gonna
ever
love
made.
it.
I hated it. I hated this. I don't know, Dave.
You
This is-
hated Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure?
No, honestly, okay, you ready? You ready for this? I think on a movie level, this is the best structure that any movie has had in this series.
Yeah, because
It's not a good movie, but-
it's not. For one, it felt like it had more of a budget because it actually
Went
was
to New
like-
York. Yeah.
Went to New York at least for a day, and there's
Yeah.
it's a lot of interiors, but it felt like I didn't look into the making of, but it just felt more like a movie, which is funny because it's very much a TV movie. Like High School Musical 3 is the only one that's cinematic, but this one felt like a story, I guess.
High School Musical
Um,
3 was better in every sense except for the story.
Yeah,
Like I just want to go on record. I'm not saying this is a good story. I'm saying for a movie where you feel tension and are rooting for stuff and then may or may
Well-
not get it, it was better on that level.
yeah, we're following the first. This is the only character we ever gave a shit.
yeah, I
about.
think that's right.
And it's like Sharpay, are we gonna finally get her redemption? It's promising a fabulous adventure. Are we gonna get one? That's really the question. I will say, big note for this film.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you noticed this too. Shocking.
Yeah.
Not many songs.
There,
Not really a music.
I forgot it was a musical. Like there's
Yeah.
two songs in it at the beginning and the end, but then
Yeah.
it's not a musical after that.
Yeah, I mean, so I wrote down 5 songs. The songs are the first song, which is "I'm Gonna Shine."
Yeah, right. Neat.
I'm Sharpay. I'm gonna shine. The next song is "We're Singing a Song" with my dog. Me and my dog are singing a
Wait,
song.
where is that song?
That's later. That's the audition, which we'll talk about.
Okay, so but to be clear,
And then there's "I'm also singing a song with my dog." Me and my girl. Yeah, I mean they're not musical songs.
No,
They're
they're just numbers
we're-
in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like you could call Goldeneye a musical because they have actors singing a part.
Yep.
For a
And then
little
there's I forget what the song is. I'm really great. The song that's I shouldn't
That's
let
at the
others
end.
lead the way. And
Right.
then there's the final song that's performed that's just I'm excited about my life. The rest of my life. So that's 5 songs. There's a couple songs that play like on the soundtrack, but it's in terms of characters singing a song being filmed. There's only 5 instances that I saw, and as you're saying, like a few of those don't really count.
They all are.
3 of them are like stage performances in the movie.
Even the one that's the audition that they show where she was secretly filmed, I guess.
Right.
Even that one is being performed in the movie. Like they
Right.
don't have the thing that the rest of these movies did, where sometimes we're just getting their feelings.
Right.
That didn't happen at
there's
all.
I think I'm actually pretty sure is every single song motivated.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, the title does that. They don't have High School Musical in the title, so I guess it's neither high school nor a musical, and they knew that.
That's true, but like they kind of
It's
settled
still
on
weird.
not a genre exactly.
Yeah.
Like I would have preferred it if they like pivoted hard into a new genre. I think
Yeah,
like
like
if
a
they
gritty, like a gritty horror, crime thriller, or something.
yeah, crime thriller. I think was the obvious choice. Like, by the way, how much more would you have liked this movie if you realized by the very end of it that this was all a work? And that Sharpay knew exactly what she was doing and like got her way. Like I would have loved this movie if she like just one wink at camera and like, oh, this is much better.
I'm glad she got a win here. I'm glad this is about, because that was one of the first notes I wrote is like, she better fucking, this better not
win.
be, this better not be like Zac Efron coming in at the 0 hour, just taking her thunder. Like just fucking her over.
That would have been incredible though.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, hey, I'm here.
What a move.
Real asshole move. That would have been
just, I got a song.
amazing.
You want that? And everyone's like, you know what? We do want it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's rewrite girl and best friend to boy with no dog at all.
Yeah. It's a fascinating character to do a movie about, Sharpay.
Yeah.
Because she's been nothing but treated poorly. And like a part of me was like, I kind of want, I'm both glad that no one else is in it. Not even her brother. Her brother's apparently in a cut scene.
Mm-hmm. It's in the credits.
Oh,
I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I fast forwarded it through, and I
thought it was. Well, I don't know. I rented it on Amazon, and they had the scene. It was at the end.
I watched it on Disney Plus.
I thought it was. Oh fuck! I could have watched it on Disney Plus. Damn it!
Have you paid
$4? Yes, I paid $4 for this.
They're all on Disney Plus.
Adam. Holy shit, man.
All of them.
Yeah, my bad. That was, wow, what a waste of money. I've spent $16 I didn't need to spend on this.
Apparently you're
Very
getting
upsetting.
like the premium versions though.
Yeah, I did get this extended scene. Well,
Yeah.
I thought it was insane that Ryan wasn't in this movie. Like I kept thinking that, like, wait a minute, he's got to be in the movie. Come on.
The main conflict of the movie is where am I going to stay in New York? And I'm like, isn't your brother in New York?
Yeah. Yes, that's the thing we learned. Okay,
and they're
so
like, we'll have this guy check up on you, and it's like, and it's not your brother. Where's your brother?
okay, let's talk about that at the appropriate juncture. I don't know where it is.
Yeah,
but we need that scene ruins the movie, like logically.
Yeah.
He shows up at the end. He's like congratulating her, and he's like, "I'm on a successful musical tour. You just became a star, right?" Like that's the
So
scene.
he has
right?
a place in New York, is what you're saying.
I'm saying this whole thing isn't a conflict because of that scene.
right.
Yes,
I mean,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
This is in true High School Musical fashion. There is no conflict in this.
Not really. It's
in the sense that
more
it's a
than-
rich person.
Yeah.
Like the main movie, the main like underdog story, pun intended, is about how people are racist against dogs. Like that's most of the movie. The adversity she has to overcome
It's for a dog.
is the fact that she has a dog.
Her dog named Boy, which
Yep.
was like,
In a-
okay, all right.
In a world that everybody loves dogs, that's the other thing.
Right.
It's like it's almost unrealistic.
In New York,
but
I don't think so. Like they'd be like, no, get your fucking dog out of here. That was the one true moment in this movie. You know?
They needed. I wish they actually went more into that. Like,
yeah,
Austin Butler, who's in this movie.
Austin Butler is in this movie.
Yeah, he basically is a dog in this movie.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. And like, I was like, just make it about her and her dog. Like, you don't need the himbo there because like, and we'll talk extensively about what he is. But like the whole conflict is no one wants my dog and likes it. And that humanizes Sharpay, where it's like, oh, she loves her dog. That humanizes her,
she
right?
saves the dog
Exactly.
early in the first act, you know?
And so like, just make it about, because here's the thing is, this is another thing we have to talk about. The musical she's in is about her life.
The musical was like, no, like
it's coincidentally about a girl going to the city with her dog who isn't being accepted.
What was the dog's name in the musical, by the way? Was it Sharpay?
The dog's name? No, I forget what the dog's name is. The dog's
name in the musical. We better look it up, man, because it was. Yeah, we better look. I'm gonna look it up. I'm sorry, I'm gonna do this right now.
But it's that's all to say that like just have a movie focused on her and her dog. Just have scenes with her and her dog.
Wouldn't
where
she
she's
say
like, you're my, like, you could have a whole thing where you could point out like Sharpay didn't really have friends in high school. They all treated her like garbage. The only person who loved her was her dog. And it's been with her. And that dog's getting old. It's probably can't hear well. It's a little confused. And so it's her and her elderly dog, and they're going it alone because no one else fucking believed in her, not even her father.
Oh,
and it's like, just really make it about Sharpay and her dog. You don't need this fucking himbo in there.
Can I say I think they almost did that in this movie? Like they didn't quite commit to it. They almost did that movie.
Yeah,
there was a moment where I was like, oh, this is gonna get a little dark for her. Okay,
yeah,
like I'm okay with that. I think that's interesting. Okay, I can't find it on Wikipedia. I do need to know what the name of the dog in the play is.
All right, shout it out if you know it, folks.
Yeah, if you know it, be shouting it for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, the movie is essentially about Sharpay finding her destiny, and to the point that the opening shot is a profile shot, like in The Graduate. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did notice that.
It was like, oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah,
it was a weird shot, and it is like symbolizing, like, yeah, the future is ahead of her, and this is about what's next for Sharpay. And again, like, I do like that they singled her out and said, like, we need to think about Sharpay's future here because she's the one who has the most uncertain future of the third one.
So, okay. So just briefly, can we get to the point where we actually have the conversation with her and her dad? Like, I want to talk about the first scene a bit. So maybe we should do that.
All right. So the opening shot of her, like The Graduate,
it
pulls out and we see that she's singing a song. It's like the opening of fucking Temple of Doom. She's singing a song.
It really is.
About how she's going to win in front of a completely unmoving audience. Like a terrifyingly silent and unmoving audience.
Dave, so I looked at it like, wait a minute. Is this a runway? Is this dinner theater? What is the venue here? Like, what is this performance she's doing?
She's doing a number on a runway in front of a very stoic audience. The only people who seem to care are her parents. She's doing it with a bunch of people who are in like formal mime wear.
Yeah.
These like black tie. She does a rap breakdown at one point. Didn't need that. And it's revealed to be a fundraiser event.
Like, this definitely feels like when we say fundraiser, what we mean is the dad paid a lot of money to put this on.
Yeah.
And the people who took that money overcharged and are supporting the arts with it. Like, her dad is creating this so that his daughter has something to do. And like everyone else is like, all right, we'll come to it because,
I think so too, because her dad is very concerned about her. But yeah, they say it's a fundraising event. Her parents are still supportive as hell. They introduce her to this Jeff Bezos looking motherfucker.
Yeah,
who revealed to be a casting agent.
So, okay, I'm sorry. I do have two other things to talk about the musical number, Dave. One of them is they keep cutting to the lifts like they're explosions in the 80s. Like they keep doing the lift like 3 times. They do it a few times in this movie, and you're like, why are they doing that?
It's because they're like, this is the best stunt we have in the movie.
It's literally just her being picked up, and they do it 3 times like it's the moment where the factory explodes or whatever.
Right.
And you're like, what? No.
They're so proud of those.
Yeah, they really are. So there's that, and then also there's a cut to one audience member that's not the parents, and that audience member did not look pleased.
No,
Like,
nobody looks in the audience. Everybody is watching it silently.
it was like a very
There's
awkward cut.
There's like a stock sound cheer at the end,
Yes,
but I don't think they got the sound on the day.
they definitely did.
Like,
yeah,
yeah, it feels like the audience didn't know what they were supposed to. Like she was CGI'd in.
yes,
Like they're not reacting. They're not like putting their hands up. They're not cheering.
it's
they're
automatons, man.
Yeah,
It's
they look
fucked
like a
up.
stock photo of an audience.
It's really fucked up. Also, here's one of the lyrics of this song. I wrote it down because I was like, there's got to be, they had to have written a better line. I'm very upset with the writing in this movie, and that's going to keep coming up.
There's a couple lines later that I was like, is this supposed to be like, what are you fucking Tarantino?
Yeah, are these jokes? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So here's one of the lines from the songs. With a poochie in my Gucci,
I
I
wrote
just
that
can't
down
be
as
stopped.
well. I wrote that down as well. That's in the rap
I
breakdown.
couldn't believe that.
Yeah,
Because it was like,
yeah.
okay, it does add up. I
But
understand
do
those
it
words
again.
add up.
Do it again.
But nope.
I think they were like, okay, Poochie rhymes with Gucci.
It's like, no, man.
And then
you
they're
can't
like,
do it.
can we go with that? Can we run with that?
Like they just need one moral human to listen. Like, no, you can't have Ashley Tisdale say that. You fucking asshole.
But
You
also
can't do
like,
that.
okay, but like it's such a good rhyme that they're like, how can we throw out that rhyme? I'm
Like-
imagining like 0 hour. They're like, and we're still going with the rhyme. We're about
we
to
still
shoot
got
this
Gucci
thing. Are we
in my
still?
Poochie, right? Or no, excuse me, Poochie in my Gucci. I couldn't
That
believe
is
it.
fucked up.
I could not believe it.
I'm so glad we wrote down that line.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
We have transgressed at a level we never did before.
It's foreshadowing the fact that she's going to get into a relationship with a dog like
yeah. It does add up. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
like,
it's technically not
do a
dirty,
second draft, you
but it
monster.
also, yeah. A Poochie in my Gucci. I want a shirt that says that.
We all need that. That's
Yeah.
that's I feel like what the product of this
Yeah.
series we're doing should be.
If I run for president, I'm going to run on a Poochie in every
A
Gucci.
Poochie in every Gucci.
Yeah.
You all can't be stopped. Then there's a line that I wrote down that her mom said. Her mom says a line. It's like one of her two lines in the movie. This is like commenting on Sharpay's performance. On a scale of 1 to 10, you're on an entirely different scale. And you know my aversion to scales. And I was like, wait a minute. Like this is like this like scale inception. What the fuck happened here? Like,
Right. I think the idea she's trying to say that
We're
she's
very
a dame. Well, she's like a dame and she doesn't want to like get on the scale. Is that what she
on
said?
a scale of 1 to 10, you're on a different scale, and you know my
Right.
aversion to scales.
Right. I'm having
the
more
line.
than one scale, and I fucking hate
And I hate
one
scales.
scale, let
I
alone
hate 'em.
2 scales.
Like, right. So it's like, are you saying you hate the shit out of your daughter? What are you saying, woman? You
I
know, like-
later wrote, yeah, there's a couple lines coming up too, where so it feels like the lines, it died out later in the movie.
yeah,
It feels
yeah.
like the screenwriter had a lot of energy at
Yes.
first. He had just watched
Yes.
like Django Unchained and was like, I want to write something that's dynamic and has like, or like he was watching like Sorkin or something.
I think
and
he
was like, I'm going to do some really good dialogue in this.
I think he was watching a Neil Simon play or something. Like, 'cause
yeah,
that's what it felt like. It felt very throwback to like
yeah,
extremely clever like puns and shit.
yeah.
You know,
It's later. Daddy, the reasons I buy expensive shoes is so I can take gigantic steps. I
Yeah.
think she
Oh,
says.
man, I know. I was furious.
And then there you go, believe in everything you think.
Right.
Lines like that, where it's like, we're trying to be clever. We're trying to be clever.
But
in
is this
our
as good as it
dialogue.
gets? What
Yeah.
the fuck's going on here?
What the fuck
You know?
is going
you wanna
on?
you make me want to be a better performer, Daddy. Like, what is this shit?
Right. And part
You
of
know?
me was like, yeah, man, go for it. But again, they don't commit.
Yeah,
They like veer away.
they didn't quite put the Poochie in the Gucci, so to speak.
No. So she gets offered, so she thinks, by Jeff Bezos, a Broadway part. He watches this pop musical shit.
Was the
Which-
dog even in the scene? The
I
dog
was, spoilers, I don't think the dog was in the scene. And this is why, like, they later they're gonna act like she's the asshole. And I'm like,
Right.
no, you're the asshole.
yeah, you are profoundly
She
the
just-
asshole, sir.
This young woman just performed a song and dance And he walks up and goes, we're casting for a Broadway play. We want you there. And she says left. I was really hoping it was like Les Mis. Like that was the reveal, that it's like just something like some really serious thing.
Oh, yeah, that's like wrong for her. And like, the Crucible.
Yeah, we're doing like Hamlet Machine.
Yeah.
And we want you. But no. It's fucking. Well, we'll get to it. So
it's Richard
so
III.
That's the conflict.
We want you for Richard, you know?
Yeah.
How do you feel about having a hunchback? Anyway.
So she wants to go to New York to audition. Now, I would argue that's a hotel trip. But
why does she,
whatever.
Yeah. Why does she need to move there?
I mean, I get it, because if I were her, I would also want to leave Albuquerque and take the first chance I get. Like, I think she's using it as, but like, no one brings this up, because the conflict is she's like, I want to move to New York, and her
and be a star.
Dad is like, you're not ready yet. And like, her dad could say, like, let's go to New York and do this audition. That's a good, let's meet in the middle. You know, we'll fly, like, we'll take our helicopter.
Yeah, we'll chop her over there for the winter or whatever. And it doesn't, it really seems, I kind of agreed with the dad a little bit this time, which I normally wouldn't. But like, I kind of agree that Sharpay as a character, at this point, we have to think of her as delusional. Like deeply delusional.
I agreed with him, but he wasn't really. And I know why, but like, I wish the conflict came more out, because he keeps saying, you're not ready to go to New York City.
Agreed.
And I was like, I think that's all she wants, right?
Agreed.
To star on Broadway. And again, like, he should say again, let's just go to the audition. We'll get a nice hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it. And you know, in this, as we've learned in this universe, if a child goes somewhere, the whole family has to pack up and leave. Maybe that's why.
He's like, look, we built this house. You're not going anywhere. Damn it. You know, like.
But I think what he's trying to say to her is, you're not ready emotionally. Yeah. But he never really says that. So what she does, she takes her thrall, and we get this montage. One of her thrall is so clearly Canadian. She's trying to hide it.
Yeah.
Hannah was watching, and they were like, that person's on Degrassi. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I'm an American. Look at me. And it's like, you are a fucking
hot dog, baseball. Yeah. You're like, all right. Bro.
But her thrall helps her plan the trip to prove that she's ready. And I'm like, that's not what he meant, right? He wasn't like, you're not ready. Like, we can plan the trip. He's trying to say, you're not ready emotionally for New York City.
I think they left it vague in the sense that she sort of is a grown-up child. Like, again,
she's very wealthy and sheltered is the idea of Sharpay. And that's what we see, right?
Can we take one step back and ask, do we think that the movies think that Sharpay is actually inferior intellectually or emotionally to everyone else in High School Musical?
So this is an interesting thing, because what this movie is about to do is like this Russian nesting doll of shittiness. Yeah. So I think they know that in the logic of the movie, not our logic.
Right.
This
not
is a movie
logic.
about, this is in the movies, they were already rich, right? We already had this issue with Zac Efron, which was like, I don't care about this guy. He's so fucking rich. Sharpay is supposed to be the quote rich character. So we're following the quote rich character on an adventure to get everything she wants. Right. And they knew we have to take her down a peg, because that's how stories are.
Yeah. Right.
Which, to their credit, is not something they did for the other High School Musicals, or at least they tried a little bit, but at no point did it feel like Zac Efron was like disadvantaged, right?
No, this movie was better at stakes than any of the other ones.
And so they realized, we're going to take, it's like the movie Overboard, kind of, where I think what they wanted was like rich, pampered, sheltered person meeting a quote down to earth guy who's teaching her the ropes. But the movie gets too distracted from that premise. I mean, it gets distracted by every premise, right? It's like it keeps swapping, because like we said, the dog dynamic was also a movie. It's like two different ideas that they crammed together.
I was surprised that the dog was as important as it was. It also felt like, more than anything else, it wanted to be Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Like that
She's all the pink and like she goes to the pink store.
well, and
and
sort of
everything's
she
pink.
doesn't get the world she's in, and the world she's in is more of a cold New York world in theory.
Yeah,
and-
Crocodile Dundee,
Yeah,
like
fish out of water story. Yeah.
Yeah, and these movies are so I don't know what it is. It really does feel like they're overstuffed. So like they don't have time to let any one idea breathe.
I agree.
Because all the conflicts are immediately resolved in a few scenes.
And it would have been interesting to watch her do, the performance at the end and like have to nail something. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so
but
the movie The Cutting Edge is a movie where it's like a skating movie where it ends in the Olympics, and it's also about this couple getting together. But like the end of the movie still hinges on, can they perform this impossible move?
Right.
And if they do, it's like the perfect symbol of we did it, right? There's nothing like that in this movie.
No, I honestly think this is what they want to do is a small fish in a big pond. Because the idea is, I think Sharpay she starts being like, I'm hot shit, goes to New York, and they know they need to humanize her, so they do the dog thing. And then their other tactic is to introduce an even larger monster.
Right. A more Sharpay. Yeah.
And remember how you predicted that she would be a PA? They kind of do that.
She is PA.
Movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so it's the idea of humility, like teaching her humility, which I would argue she already has tons of humility thanks to being fucked over repeatedly in high school.
Well, so that's the question is, did she actually understand what happened to her?
It doesn't seem that way.
That's because I'm not trying to belabor this.
I know what you're saying, which is the idea that like Sharpay got fucked over repeatedly and then like a goldfish just like forgot it or would just like move on. So like I don't think the movie is intending this, but it does seem like she has a brain problem.
Well, I'm not making fun
and
of
I'm
her.
not talking about low intelligence. I mean like a 51st States.
Yeah, I agree.
Brain problem.
Yeah, I agree.
They all seem to have that.
I would argue her character doesn't seem to be able to face reality.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I was kind of like, her dad might have a point here. Like, you're not ready. Like, New York has more reality than she's accustomed to.
Yeah. It's a little like, a little Annette Bening in American Beauty, like someone who's just sort of like
delusional.
They're like, they've told themselves that they have this life and they're sort of sticking to that idea. And the first thing is her song is like, I'm going to shine. I'm going to get it all. Is that the idea? The problem with these movies, again, is they don't actually explore that stuff, right? They end up getting exactly what they want.
They don't explore it on a more human level. I would argue, for instance, this movie dares to show us that Sharpay has more sides than we expected.
I think they need to, right?
Yeah, they need
she's
to.
The protagonist.
Also,
they need to make her a human.
Ashley Tisdale, kind of a good actor. Like I thought a lot of her softer stuff. I was like, this is really good.
This is kind of, Austin Butler. They don't know what they have.
They have no idea what they have. Yes, exactly.
Has he won an Oscar yet? But it's very funny watching these very talented actors perform very simplistic characters and doing like Austin Butler doesn't need to be acting well in this because he's not playing a real person.
He's okay in it. It's not that it's bad, it's that it's a bad part.
No, that's what I mean. It's a bad part. And I'm watching this very good actor in this bad part, and I'm like, he's still doing a good job with what they give him, but they don't give him much. Like, he's playing his character dumb because he kind of has to be dumb. He has to be a simple man in this.
Otherwise, why would he invest in anything this delusional
he's just her himbo slave. He's just like, hi, I'll do everything for you. I love you. Like, he's a dog. He's just a golden retriever.
So to contrast, I need to contrast Sharpay with Reese Witherspoon's character in Legally Blonde.
Please.
The difference between them, and I think why Legally Blonde is so much better of a movie, is that we know right away that Reese Witherspoon's character is capable. You know what I mean? Like for instance, she makes a video essay to get into Harvard Law. That's like pretty competent. Is it like their vibe? No, but it's competent.
Yeah, the idea with her is like, you don't underestimate her. She might seem like a ditz, but she's
fucking smart. Exactly. And she keeps proving that. It's like basic movie stuff.
And I think
like,
this movie, the idea is the wicked smart is Sharpay's ability to perform.
I agree with that, but the problem is the movie also wants to do capable of living an independent adult life is part of the stakes of this story.
Right.
And I don't think she is. You know what I mean? Like that's a huge
agree.
issue.
Everything they make her out to be is sheltered. Her dad talks to her like she's a child. The whole thing is she does not understand the world. So that needs to be her arc, right?
Yes.
Her arc
growing
needs
up,
to be
coming of
like
age.
at the end of this movie, we needed an indication of her like doing things on her own. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, for example, and we'll get to this, but like they show her eat a hot dog and she's disgusted by it. Have her eat a hot dog at the end and just not even think about it. You know, like that's a really dumb example, but it's an example of like an arc is like she starts one way and she ends another way. She's more hardened because the idea here, and this is a big problem I have with Austin Butler's character we'll talk about. The idea is like you want to get in the industry. Well, welcome to New York. It is messy and
hard.
complicated.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're all equals here. And like,
and you better get ready. You know.
Yes, that's the idea. Of course, like they immediately they know to take her. Like the first thing they do is like you shouldn't have a fancy penthouse. You should have a $6,000 a month studio apartment.
That's exactly the number I wrote down, by the way. How much that studio would cost. It's huge.
So they're trying to do this thing where they're like, okay, big city again, big little fish, big pond. She's taken down a peg. She meets a guy who's like a scrappy Aladdin type, and he teaches her the ropes, and she has to get her hands dirty and learn humility and fight for what she wants. That's what I think
that was what they were going for. Okay.
But then they're also doing this dog story, which we'll get into. And then Austin Butler also kind of drops off in that message. Like the movie gets distracted from that idea.
Okay. I think we've done a good job of establishing what the movie was trying to say. So like the rest of my comments are not going to be about that. Not to say we won't talk about it again, but like my perspective on what's happening are going to be less about that.
Right.
Because I wasn't totally sure when I was watching it.
Right.
You know?
So let's get her to New York. Let's get her to New York.
Okay, great. Well, I just need to say, though, that they give us this backstory to sort of catch us up to where she is in her life. She took a year off to, quote, find herself. And that's when I realized, like, man, she was really fucked up at the end of High School Musical 3.
Yeah.
Like, that really fucked her up.
That really fucked her up.
Yeah, she was, it was a dark year for her. Very
and I wish they played into that more.
Me too.
That it's like I wish she ended like again. I wish she was more of a villain in 3.
I agree,
and I wish this was like about because they do that. You know, TV shows do this more where you have a villain character and then you punish them so much that you like humanize them and then you give them a redemption. And the problem is that she wasn't a villain, but then they punished her a bunch. Yeah. And so again, that's why I'm like sort of like I wish she got to show up her classmates in this.
I agree.
Because,
yes,
they're the
her
actual
own moment. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, at least in her story,
I'm also happy that they're behind her. Part of me is like, good. I'm glad they don't show up. I'm glad that she doesn't have to fucking see them again.
Well, Dave, I can't tell you how many ideas came swimming into my brain for High School Musical reunion. Like it's right. We're at the right time. Like in a couple years. How interesting it seriously how interesting it would be to do a reunion movie with these people and like what happened to them all. I know, Dave. Maybe we need to. Yeah,
for Disney.
Like none of them. It didn't turn out great for any of them except maybe McKenna Taylor who went to Yale. I kind of believed it would be fine for her, but like the rest of them, I have no. They're playing in junkyards. Dave is the point.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
Because I didn't like any of them.
I didn't either. Very quickly, she also had a line, when I make up my mind looks amazing.
Fucking weird scene. Her dad also is doing it's hard to, he's not a bad actor. His style though, he's doing like broad, like he feels like he's in a sketch, like a comedy sketch.
Yeah, he's a bit of a goofy vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing like this broad tactic of like I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird style.
It's like he's an SNL. Yeah, a sketch is exactly the vibe. But I would say in general, Ashley Tisdale's pretty broad.
Yeah,
like she's the pace car for this story.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
She's not small in any.
That's
of her
what
decisions.
I mean. Where I'm like, I don't think it's the acting. I just think it's like the choice.
I also felt a sense of contempt from the writer about teenage girls in this, like pitch me that you're ready.
Yeah,
like I don't want to hit the writer too hard. Good for him.
I'm also wondering if the dad is too clingy. Where like I agree that he's not wrong, but also it's like maybe he's the reason why she went to the local Albuquerque school.
Yeah,
like maybe he's been sheltering her and is refusing to let her go. And
I think that dynamic is unclear enough to the point where it's a problem for the movie.
Right. Like, what if the parents kidnapped her as a baby?
100%.
And they don't want her to get out because
find out who her birth parents are.
Yeah.
That's one possibility. Like, I think the idea of, okay, so he frames her going to New York in the following way, and this matters because we're going to keep talking about it. You have 1 month to prove you can make it, right? Yeah. Not even 1 month to get a job, or 1 month, like it's one
proof that you can make it on Broadway.
You can make it on Broadway.
They're setting her up to fail. They want her to fail.
Yeah.
Also, it's a great that we learn that there's going to be this whole thing's going to take place in a month. That's important to me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then her mom says, "I'm also going to set you up with a random boy I know."
Like, what's he supposed to do?
He'll check in on you.
So there's that, and there's also, or else you're going to come back and work a job with me. And all I want, Dave, what is that job? I just want to know what that job is. You know what I mean?
I have no idea.
Can't be bad. Look at everything he's got her doing now.
Of course it can't be bad. Yeah.
That job's probably amazing.
No, they just want to shelter her. The job, it's a job in quotes. Yeah. Like it's a fake job that he's going to give her.
That's so... And I'm not being condescending when I say this. I think there's a greater than zero chance everything that happens in all these movies is a put on for her. Everything.
Right. Or he's like a Kushner type.
Yeah.
And she's going to help the president with hurricane relief if she gets back.
Yes, exactly.
And it's going to be, So she has a month to prove herself, which again, like
1 month.
A month is, you need to, that's like, that's putting down roots. That's like, you haven't, some people like, I don't think it took, like, I don't think I was fully moved in a month, you know?
You don't know where your fucking grocery store is, or your, like, let alone, like, and nobody could get a reasonable job and an apartment in New York and expect to have that done in 1 month.
But she does have an apartment waiting for her and her own maid, her penthouse maid landlord.
Yeah.
I want to talk. Yeah. Because she goes into this penthouse.
Yeah.
And the maid landlord is like, "At your service." And it's this beautiful penthouse elevator. And this felt very fucking unrealistic because she's like, again, a landlord maid apparently. And I say landlord maid because at first I thought she was just a servant. And then she goes,
she owns the building. She's the owner of the building. So she's like a liaison type figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she's like, "Oh, but no dogs allowed." And it was like, that's weird. That's weird that you're now learning this. That's weird that you would say this to this very wealthy family.
Counterpoint, absolutely not. Counterpoint, yes, they are. This place costs $20 million. I'm going to have a herd of dogs in here, and you're going to say nothing about it.
Exactly.
Like,
if there's damage, guess what? I'll fucking pay for it.
I'll build the skyscraper next door. Fuck you. Here's a dog on your way out.
A wild offer. It's ridiculous. No dogs allowed. And she sends this young lady with rich parents on the street. She makes her homeless. She sends her and all her stuff and her dog on the street. Her dad's going to kill this lady.
Oh, this woman is dead.
Murdered.
This woman is dead by like the end of this sentence. She's dead.
Yeah.
That's why we never see her again. Also, okay, and I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to belabor this, Dave. I'm sorry, but like, what does she need to prove at the end of this month? Because I guess paid a $20 million. If that penthouse in New York, that's not an exaggeration. That is a very expensive place.
What does she need to prove? Like, if he said, here's 10 grand, go to New York.
Go do it. Yeah, make it all work.
Yeah,
he didn't do that.
Call me if you need a trip back. like, if you call me for money, it's to come back.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
But no, he's like, proof that you can make it in New York
on my money.
With this, yeah, just with the clothes on your back and a penthouse worth millions.
Yeah.
Like
the clothes on your back, all the clothes in the city.
Can she not sublet that penthouse?
That solves all their problems. She'll never have to work again just if she sells the apartment. So there's that. And also there's like, and I can't say this enough. If he's going to help her with that, why wouldn't anyone that they know help her get a fucking casting agent? You know what I mean? Like the stakes of this are insane.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
It's the fact that it's written by people who don't understand what money is, who seem to have so much, because you look at fucking Troy with his beat up truck and his mansion.
Yeah, his jalopy.
Where it's like, they don't understand what it means to be actually struggling. So like, I just don't know what they're trying to say at any given moment.
It's so silly that it's confusing. And
because
absurd.
Like Austin Butler, I'm also like, is he supposed to be poor? Because I don't think he's poor. I think he can afford this amazing studio. He doesn't have a single fucking roommate.
While he's going to NYU, you know what that tells me? He's very wealthy.
Right.
You know, like, also they did another repeat lift thing here where she like went up to the penthouse. They did like a couple of several edits when she saw the place and the elevator arrived. And it was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Like, that's not a big moment. It's an elevator. What is happening?
They were trying, I don't know. They were trying to like build up the moment so they could knock her down, you know?
Yeah.
I guess. So they can kick her on the street for having a small dog, not even a large dog.
Yeah, a small, quiet dog.
Quiet dog.
Yeah. Sure. I will say though, Dave, so jaded was I with the previous three about whether there would ever be stakes. I was deeply shocked that they actually kicked her out. I was like,
I was genuinely like scared for her.
Yeah.
When she's on the streets with all her luggage, like it's the jerk.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no.
I was like
is she gonna get into heroin? Is this life on the streets?
She's gonna be the trash woman from Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
Like, that person's gonna come right around the corner.
Right.
You know?
And instead she is faced with something even more terrifying.
Yeah.
Which is a young man with a video camera.
Buddy.
This American Beauty motherfucker starts filming her on the street. And she, good for her, is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. That's right.
He says, I don't know, you look so baffled and scared. And I'm like, please tell me you have mace. I need you to mace this man immediately.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. He's shoving it's actually probably not old at the time. Shoving like an EX1 or whatever.
Yeah. It's a little old, I'd say. It's like 5 years.
It's old now. But he's shoving an old digital camera in her face. And I just need everyone to understand this. There's not one good shot in this movie on that camera.
No.
They keep cutting to everything he's filming. And it's like, that's trash. What are you doing?
Every time they cut to the camera, the quality appears to be just as good as the film we're watching. Like the first time they cut away to the shot, I just thought the cameraman tripped or something. I was like, that's a weird. Oh, this is supposed to be his shot. All right.
Now they do things that are trying to help us understand that this is the student film, but it's stuff like he doesn't know how to expose a shot. He doesn't know how to frame a shot. He's
way too close to her in a lot of the shots.
It's a mess. This student film he's making is a mess, and I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah, I wanted it to be, when he finally shows it, I wanted it to be gibberish.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like Exit Through the Gift Shop. Like here's the film Terry made. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like experimental with some death metal and shit under it. You know?
I want that so bad. Yeah, because so he says to her basically, hey, it's okay. I'm a film student. And I was like, oh, definitely run.
Yeah, that's
like
the best
this guy is
run into. Yeah.
This is and so by staggering cosmic coincidence, he is also the friend that was supposed to check in on her.
Okay, so can we talk about the staggering cosmic coincidence of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, this feels like he's going to kill her.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like he is filming her, says, I love how you're scared. And he's so supportive for the whole movie to the point that I was like, I just feel like he's a dark, dark character.
Yeah, there's something insidious going on there.
Yeah.
One of the insidious things is he looks a hell of a lot like her brother lover.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how you tempt the Sharpay, is like, get somebody that looks a hell of a lot like your brother.
Yeah, it's a step up. Clearly.
I mean, I guess. Is it? Like, is it a step up, Dave?
I think it's a step up from In the sense that it's not literally her brother.
Yeah, it's a step up legally. I agree with that. But the fact that he looks a lot like her, it's like that Ted Cruz porn video that he tweeted. You know what I mean? It's like, it looked just like his wife. It's like, it's exactly like that. It's like, okay, you got to type. I got it. You know?
Yeah, it is that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So fucking Austin Butler.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So basically, he just becomes her servant lover because he's like, well, So this is where the movie gets insane because she's like, I don't have a place to go, and because it's Disney, he can't say you can crash on my couch.
Right, which is what he would do.
So actually, a studio apartment opened up in my building. Let's just go there and go inside of it, and it's yours now. No application, no landlord. They just go to the apartment, and this is again.
What's that chalk shape? That's woman shaped.
Exactly.
What's that? Nothing.
This is the moment like he would just kill her. And so this is exactly why. This is exactly why her dad was like, "You're not ready," because this guy, luckily, is telling the truth. He's just like, "I know your parents. Come with me.
Right.
I have a place for you to live."
Right here. So what we know from this, that even within the logic of the movie, is what we know is they never saw a picture of each other. They were just like two. They were just like two marbles spun out into the universe, hoping to collide somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
he just hears her name. They didn't talk. They didn't text before. No emails.
Yeah.
There wasn't like, let's meet.
Yeah.
At this time, he just was wandering to her place to find her.
This is 2011. They all have smartphones, right?
Yeah. She's rich. Of course she does.
Yeah. Okay. Just point it out.
Yeah. So they go back to his $6,000 a month studio apartment. She does no application process. He carries all her shit for her. This is where he became like servant lover, where she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to." Like the idea is she has to take care of herself. So you know what would be a great way to show that?
Her doing
her have to carry her shit.
Yeah, he'd be like, "No, I'll meet you there," and she's like, "Oh shit," you know.
Yeah, because he's like Aladdin. He's supposed to be like a street rat who's like showing her the ropes. And rule number one, he should be like, "No, carry your own shit."
Right. What do you think? What do you think I am, lady? Like, you know,
you're not paying me. He's the first person.
Yeah.
He's the first person she's not paying.
Right.
So it's like, have him show that.
Well, this is where I would argue what we're learning is he is being paid. Everyone's being paid.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, I'm serious. Like, there's no, the movie doesn't do basic shit.
Again, the musical is about her life.
Mm-hmm.
The musical is fake. It's
all
sham
fake.
Musical.
Yeah.
When they show later the first screening, did you notice that everybody in the audience is 25?
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is a fake audience. Yeah.
Well, the audience was all the Amber Lee fangirls, right? Which, hey, spoilers, most of those would not be women. Like, that would be a bunch of 25-year-old men. Like, that's who would have showed up for that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
So she walks into the lobby of the apartment building, which I'm just going to say easy. I would say regular to good lobby, perhaps even upscale. Like there's the mail.
Yeah.
And she screams. The first thing she does is scream like she's seeing a dead body at this generally fine apartment building. So this is where the movie, like, I couldn't tell. I think they want her to be a little stuffy, right? But they wanted the apartment to seem run down.
It did not work. It did not work.
And we learned that there's no elevator. She spins in a circle in disbelief. I was like, you are 23. That is not a problem for you.
Yeah,
for me, it is. Like I would be like, I'll just be homeless. Me, 40-year-old me. They're like, free studio apartment, but there's 3 flights of steps.
You're not doing the stairs?
You know what? I'm living in a garbage can, like Oscar the Grouch.
I love that you're doing this. I
lived on the 5th floor of an apartment.
Okay.
Because New England is filled with these old fucking apartments.
Yeah.
That are like, haunted as shit.
Yeah.
And so I lived on the 5th floor of one in my 20s, and it was exhausting. It was exhausting. The laundry was in the basement. So every time I had to do laundry, I had to go up and down 5 floors. It was awful.
I do 3 flights to do from my apartment to my laundry facility, which is in the basement.
Yeah.
And it's not fun.
Truly
that's
awful.
that's not fun. So I don't blame her for screaming in that respect.
But she doesn't. She screams just at like she thinks there's an elevator when she screams. She doesn't know about just the stairs yet.
Yeah,
she just screams.
There
it's just a
jokes,
unbroken scream,
which is sort of what you'd call this whole movie, really.
Yeah,
there are moments in this movie where people don't know basic words or logic that are passed off as privilege, I guess. Like that was one. It's like, hey, privileged people aren't surprised by a lack of elevator.
right?
Like,
but also, like for me, I'm like, she's young enough that's like she raced up and down those high school steps all the time. Was there an elevator in the high school? No. Like she's at an age where she's like, oh, that sucks, but it's fine. You know, like that's not devastating news. It's devastating news if you're 40, I would argue.
Yeah, if it's you and I, it's devastating news.
She's going to the club. She's partying until fucking 2 a.m. Coming home, partying some more, and getting up at 9. You know, she's like, it's fine. You know,
it is fine.
Stairs.
There's a line in here where he says, "You know what your problem is? You're used to people doing stuff for you, and
while doing stuff for her."
Yeah, while doing stuff. And her line is, and I don't know if this is supposed to be a joke or not. I'm not used to it. I just expect it.
Yeah.
And it was like so deadpan. Like it was like, is that a joke?
I think, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Like what? There were a lot of jokes that were like, is that a joke?
Right.
Anyway, I got really mad.
He's like a stoned mule, basically.
Yeah,
like
kind of.
He takes all her shit, brings it up. They go into the studio and she's horrified by the studio.
Yeah.
And this studio has like a old like that fridge is worth money.
Oh yeah.
The lights, it has this Murphy bed, like giant like thing of drawers. It's gorgeous.
It's like a 700 square foot apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good size.
And it appears to not be in a like it's not outside. It's not like on the outskirts of the city.
It gets good light. You know what I mean? Like it's nice in there.
She's just like right in the city.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's probably like 10K today.
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I wrote down 7. I think we're talking. I think you and I are talking here. Yeah. Then to comfort her, he decides I'm gonna show her the next thing. So he pulls her into this dark room that turns out to be a theater, but he's filming her.
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
Because there's more.
Oh, okay.
He says, "Oh, and we're gonna be neighbors."
Yeah.
And he runs out the door.
Yeah.
And I just have to point out, he runs out the door and then he opens the window and she looks out her window, and on the adjacent building, he's there.
Yeah.
So I just need to know, I've never seen a building that has an alleyway between the apartments.
Could that have
like
happened?
there's a gap. There's a gap between the apartment. I'm not saying it's impossible, but what it seems like in the scene is that he goes, "Oh, hold on," runs out, and 30 seconds later he has walked down 3 flights of stairs, gone into another building, and gone up 3 flights.
Yeah.
And then he's through the window.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hi, neighbor." I think they're implying that there's just some fucked up. I think they wanted like
it's
this
a U-shaped building.
They wanted this, like it's U-shaped, but the alleyway is like it's like a 3-foot gap, and so it's like just such a weird geography where it's like they wanted the cutesiness. Like I think later they have scenes where they're like talking through the window.
They have a couple. Yeah, that's a New York joke.
Yeah, here's what I'd argue.
Yeah,
just all right. All right. Here's what I argue. Don't set up this guy at all. Have Sharpay find the studio apartment on her own somehow.
Okay, sure.
And just have her observe him as a neighbor, like a little meet cute. Like that's all you needed, I think, to set this up. But it's just such an elaborate, I don't know. It's just such a weird setup of like, oh, and I'm your cutesy neighbor here.
Yeah, right. What do we need this guy to be to make this movie work? Like, what does he need to do ultimately? I would argue, I mean, because, spoilers, they fall in love, right?
Right. I think he needs to be an Aladdin. He needs to be like, I'm a street rat. I'm a struggling artist. Here I am in he should be like artsy. Like out there, artsy,
like a hipster,
black and white photography.
Yeah,
like his studio is more like an art thing, and she's looking, and so it's like Sharpay, who really likes the glamour and spectacle of arts, of theater, meeting someone who's more of the other side of the spectrum, who's like a struggling artist. I think that's what we needed from him.
Okay. Yeah, because we don't have that type in High School Musical. Like the composer is the closest.
Yeah.
By the way, it would have been killer if instead of these adult Broadway people, they'd had the composer be the director of this play.
She should be there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just like, and she's like not your friend now.
Right.
Like,
She's your boss.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Amber Lee has the part. That's how this shit is.
That would be cool.
That would have been cool. Anyway, they didn't do it. It was
anyway.
Why wouldn't you get people from the other? It was really weird to me that they didn't get anybody from High School Musical for this.
Maybe they tried, but I feel like a lot of them were gettable. So I'm like,
Like, I understand that Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens, it's probably hard to get them. But like literally anybody else could have been in this
anybody
movie.
else.
Yeah. And there's a few of them, they had reasons to be in this movie.
Yeah, it would have been good. It
like
would have been nice to see a familiar face.
Yeah, the drama teacher would have been part of that gala up top.
Or like like she calls her for advice or something later.
That makes sense.
And you're right. Is the composer is in Juilliard, so it's like have her run into her, have her be Austin Butler.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Give us the fucking love story between them. I don't give a fuck. Like, just do something.
Yeah, do something. I agree. They didn't really do stuff. Okay, so can I get us to the theater? Is that okay?
So I just want to note, so then they are walking down the street and he's just filming her, like circling and filming, like she's a car accident. Just watching. Really is. And then he's like, I gotta take you somewhere. Yeah. And this is again one of the many times where I'm like, he's gonna murder her.
Yeah.
And yes, this is where he takes her to a basement, a dark basement.
Yeah. He's filming it, by the way. There's no light. And he's filming it. And I was like, this is nothing, dude. You got a black smear. That's all you got here, right?
Right.
Then he says, hit it, Butchie. And the lights come up. And I was like, who the fuck is Butchie?
I wrote, I simply cannot wait to meet Butchie. Spoilers, you never do. You never meet Butchie. I was picturing
I love how you and I always key in on the same shit. Butchie was a mystery that I was like, I need to know. What is
I wanted a tatted up lesbian trucker.
Who's a little Quasimodo-ish, you know what I mean?
Just I wanted Butchie to be in this movie.
Yeah.
So, word of advice to any young kid out there: if you go to New York and a guy takes you to a basement,
don't go,
and then yells, "Hit it, Butchie!" You're about to be hit by someone named Butchie.
Yeah.
You're about to be hit with a baseball bat.
Hit it, Butchie.
On camera. By someone. You are the it they're referring to. Hit it, Butchie. I was so scared for her.
I love that Butchie has nothing better to do than like spring this light trap on children. You know what I mean?
Was waiting.
Yeah,
he
waiting
was like,
there.
He called Butchie and said, "Listen, I'm gonna yell, hit it, Butchie, and you better be there." And then this theater, Adam, never comes up again.
No, it's just what a cool idea. The theater, you know what I mean? You might like that.
It's a gorgeous theater. And
it's gorgeous.
I like a normal writer would be setting up the theater that she performs in at the end because she like sees it and it's magical.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to be in this theater. We never go back to that fucking theater and we never meet Butchie again.
Yeah. It feels like a real tease, like maybe we'll get that spinoff.
He's just like, here's a fun idea. I'm going to take this young lady to a theater to meet Butchie, but not meet Butchie, to look at this theater, and then we'll leave and go get a hot dog or
Butchie
something.
is his uglier twin in a mask. You know what I mean? That's what we find out. Oh, that's kind of the scam
Butchie?
they're running.
I want to know Butchie.
Yeah. Yeah, Butchie's a real lost opportunity. I really never stopped thinking about Butchie. I never
same.
Did. Yeah.
This is where, again, they couldn't decide what he was.
Yeah.
Because I think they were like, this is an Aladdin street rat type who knows the city, Like he knows like, oh, if you go in this back alley, there's this really cool theater. And I know Butchie. I hang out with Butchie all the time. They're trying to show that he's like a man of the people.
Right.
But like they just keep forgetting every idea they present. So like Butchie seems like it's going to matter and it just doesn't.
Pop quiz, Dave. What is Austin Butler's character's name?
I wrote Himbo the entire movie.
I wrote Better Ryan. And then BR. Better Ryan is what I named him. And honestly, I'm living with that. No, I don't remember what his name was.
His last name is
said
Peyton.
It once.
or his first name is Peyton. I know Peyton's
idea.
there.
No
Yeah.
idea. Peyton
So we
Manning
get-
is his name.
Yeah. That'd be amazing. So we get Walking on Sunshine, the actual music just blasting.
Yes.
Like a jump scare.
blaring it. Yes.
And we get
it's a jump scare. It
is.
so loud.
it was like
whoa.
and
Yeah, yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
oh my
shit.
fucking god.
Like,
And I was thinking, shouldn't this be a song where they're singing?
yeah, cover it. What are we
Austin
doing?
Butler played Elvis. Surely he could sing in the musical. He never sings.
Nope. Big lost opportunity.
This scene is like, I'm going to show you New York, have a sing. So have a sing. Sure.
That would have been a good song for this.
And
Have
now we get a
sing.
montage having
Yeah.
a day in New York City while he films her.
So this was, by the way, initiated as let's begin my plan. Her plan to, I don't know, make it in New York is basically to walk around a lot
Yes.
and do everything New Yorkers hate. Like
Yep.
literally every
while being filmed.
What do you
I guess
hate
they're going to
most?
send this video back to her dad to be
Yeah.
like, I'm in New York.
Right.
Yes.
Like,
Because she watches a guy do cups and balls, like
Uh-huh.
a gambling, like
Neat.
yeah. Then he films her as she poses in front of a fountain for a while.
that's
Then-
the moment where I was starting to look at the New Yorkers like,
Yeah.
which one of them's the real New Yorker here that's pretty
So I-
pissed off? Like,
I don't know. So this is either a really good second AD or like I don't know what, or they stole a lot of these shots. But I got to shout out because this happened earlier when she's on the street with her all her shit.
Yeah.
All the New York extras constantly look irritated
Yeah.
by. They seem to be irritated. They're not looking at the camera, but they seem to be actually irritated that there's something being filmed around them.
that's fun.
They all seem like they're trying to get by her, and it was very good background business.
I think there's very little anyone can do to be more frustrating to a modern American than be dressed all in pink and being filmed.
yes,
Like, it's like, nope, I
Nope.
don't want that.
oh,
No
I've
thanks.
have you ever run into an influencer?
Of course.
Like, yeah,
All the time.
when-
I
like,
see them all the time.
like whenever me and Hana go to Little Tokyo,
Yeah.
that's a huge influencer
Yep.
place, and there'll be these motherfuckers running around with their cameras, like sometimes really professional photo shoots, filming TikToks.
Yep.
And it's like, get the fuck out of my day.
Yeah. I don't mind them until they need me to cooperate with their shoot.
Oh,
Soon as that happens, no
I've
thanks.
yet to have someone like come up to me with like a wad of bills and be like, "I want to pay
Oh,
you for
no.
your groceries." I
Not even
would
that.
punch them in the neck.
Yeah, of course. That's the correct move. That's socially
Yeah.
sanctioned. I mean that they need me to step out of the way or in
Oh,
any
yeah,
way
no, fuck
acknowledge what they're doing. No, I refuse.
It's a young person's game. Like
Oh,
there's
of
the
course.
there's also the film student version, which I feel like is what influencers have become. Because I remember
Kinda.
back when I had my Austin Butler camera, being on the streets filming skits.
Yeah.
On the streets.
Yeah.
We never involved people, but we would be in people's way. And it's just having that energy to say, like, let's go out and film stuff. Let's just go film stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll edit it, like
It's a 20-year-old's game, and like I don't
it was
blame them
never
for that.
good. I
Oh,
never
no.
filmed anything good.
Not one good thing is made happenstance at people's expense on the
I'm
street.
gonna whip up some edgy dialogue for us to film
No.
us saying on the street.
No, I went to a Dodgers game, like a Dodgers playoff game this weekend, which sort of tells you when this was being filmed or being recorded. And like my family stuck around toward the end just because we didn't get a chance to talk until the end of the game. And the only people that were left were influencers. And there was
Yep.
like, I don't know, I'm going to say there's 10 of them throughout the ballpark, and you could see them all, these little clusters just
Did you
influencing.
spend your poker winnings?
Dave, this was before
Oh, you
the
didn't
poker
even know.
winnings. Yeah, I do want to discuss at length on this podcast the poker game.
How much did you win?
$25
That's pretty good.
on this $20
Yeah, I mean,
buy-in.
Yeah, I was about to say that we played a low stakes poker. So
Yeah,
imagine
great.
that you won like $200.
That's how it
Because
felt.
like in any other poker table, that's what you would have won.
I felt like, I mean, is this the time to do our poker update? Because it's
I don't
fine,
give a
Dave.
fuck. Yeah. I
That was
won
fun.
I won $15
Yeah.
and like it was nice because everybody paid me in cash because I was the bank and I'm about to go to Vegas. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like it was like going to an ATM, taking out money and the ATM giving you extra money.
Yeah.
That was ultimately it.
So Dave at first like crapped out and had to buy in again.
Yeah,
And I
I
was
bought
like,
in
oh,
ultimately twice.
But basically, Dave, then slaughtered everybody. Like
I
it was
slow rolled.
Yeah, you definitely slow rolled everyone.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
You had a big stack, so you were playing fairly aggressively.
Yeah, I was.
And then the gentleman next to me also had a big stack and was playing aggressively.
Yeah.
And so I was often I had action before you guys.
Yeah.
Which is, I think for some people is tough, but like the way I play is I knew when I had a good hand, I knew I could
draw us in
one of you two
and you're right.
to bet. Yeah.
Because I don't like sitting around. This is my weakness with poker. I'm not patient enough to like sit there and like play the long game.
Right.
Like after a while, I'm like, I don't care.
Not
I just
with
want to be in a hand. You know what I mean?
But
like
that's I lived with professional poker players, and let me tell you, no one plays more sloppily than those
that
people.
Makes sense.
When you're sitting around and you're just having beers and you're playing for $20, that's when it's time to play like an asshole.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you know, if you're at the World Series of Poker, you're at a casino and you're petting a lot, then it's like, stay sober, take your time. If you're trying to actually make money, but it's like, no, we're trying to have fun.
The best thing about playing poker with your friends is it's that like at our age, we do need an activity to justify getting together.
Yeah.
Like we would get when you're younger, you don't mind just like zipping around. Like, I don't know, we'll watch a movie or whatever.
I mean, I've been doing poker since I was in my 20s, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. But I just mean like this group, this like X-Cracked Some More News conglomerate of people doesn't have the youth to like just get together for no reason.
Oh yeah.
And poker is like a perfect thing for this group to do. Like I was like, oh, this is great. I'm going to go to every one of these from now on.
It's nice to catch up.
Yeah.
I would never see Soren otherwise.
Exactly.
You know, where it's like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's
also,
very nice.
So Cody and I had a bit that I'm like, I just want to keep this going forever, which is we started calling each other Point Dexter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it was
Point
like,
Dexter.
What does that mean? And then it just became a word that means absolutely nothing. Like just
so good.
an affectionate moniker, a slander, an ethnic slur. What does it mean? It means everything. Anyway.
It was perfect.
Yeah,
good
Point Dexter. Night. Oh, great.
We had at one point, we had 9 people.
Yeah, it was big. It was a big table.
Unprecedented.
Yeah.
It's not normally that big. So it was a lot of action.
I felt
scary. So having 9 people is scary because when you play poker with 9 people, for people who don't understand poker, the more people, the more likely someone has what is known as the nuts.
Yeah. Exactly. I felt bad for is it bad form to name who was at this poker game?
I wonder if it is. I'm genuinely.
I don't think Cody and Soren are off limits, but I felt bad for the guy to my left who just kept having nothing.
Zorro had nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah,
absolutely
we'll do fake
nothing.
Names.
Yeah, Zorro had nothing.
Zorro's not his real name. Yeah, I mean that was so you weren't there for the first poker game.
Yeah,
that was me and one other person.
Oh, okay,
like that's why I like if I felt like I was swinging my big dick around, it's because I lost terribly the first time.
I loved your vibe.
So I'm like, this is Dave's night for once, and I didn't even win big. You won big. A few other people won big, but yeah,
I loved your fucking late game Michael Myers energy in this poker game. You were just like, I'm gonna slowly murder you. That's how this is gonna go.
That's usually how I play. I tried. I don't know. I used to drink, and when I drank, it was more chaotic for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I like this middle-aged version of a poker game though, where nobody's gonna get too crazy and like it's actually about having fun with your friends.
Yeah,
you know,
at best, when I'm really like I'm playing poker, I'm trying to win.
Yeah.
My best is I can stay afloat indefinitely.
Yeah.
And that's it. I never win. I never lose. I can stay, because when you're playing for safety, you sort of know because I
gotta go in on a hand every 10 hands or whatever. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a mathematical way to poker where if you just simply play the pot odds and you say I'm only gonna play these hands in this case. The way blackjack, you can there's a math.
Yeah, you game it. Yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to play poker at that level because that's not fun.
It's not fun. It's genuinely not fun.
Yeah, that's like playing a turn-based role-playing game for one-upsmanship. I really don't want to do that if I don't have to.
I'm a fan of when the night gets more and more fucked up, where 2 people are like, let's go all in without looking at our cards. Shit like that, where it's let's just gamble.
Yeah.
You take side bets, you gamble on things like, oh, is that cat outside gonna run away or not? You start being like, we're fucking gambling.
Yeah,
let's
some
gamble.
I Spy. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, side bets about like who's got to tell or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
fuck it.
we should do that. That's round 3. I'm excited about that.
I am too.
You have a good spot for hosting, Dave.
I know. I mean, if there was less people, it would have been less cramped. I'd say that little area is a little bit cramped wall wise.
I could probably do it
there's
at my spot.
Yeah, there's a couple things I can move around that'll make it less cramped next time. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could definitely. I can bring my felt.
Yeah.
Portable.
It's too bad Hans wasn't on board because
Hans was never. They were never. So Hans wasn't feeling well, but also like, I really want Hans to get into poker more. I taught him once, and like, I think I don't know. There'll be a night.
Yeah, there was one hand where I bet really hard very early. And I won like $15 on this hand, right? It was like a lot of money, you know, and it came down to there was like 2 6s on the board, a 7, a king, and like a 5. And everyone's like, what the fuck does he have? You know what I mean? Like but it also looked like it could have been a flush. Dave, I won $15. They never knew what I had. I'm going to tell you what I had, Dave. I had the full house, 6 and 7. I had it. I was like, I'm gonna go all the way in on this.
Fuck yeah!
I fucking had the full house, Dave. It was like you get so giddy when you have a full house in your hands.
I'm so glad you won money, because the worst feeling is having like pocket aces and everybody at the table being like, I have nothing, and you're like, fuck, I'm gonna win 10 cents with pocket aces.
Right. When you have a full house, you're like, can this be the hand where everybody doesn't believe me?
Yeah,
like
where someone else has something slightly good as well, but not as good.
Yes,
and they're so confident.
Yes,
there's nothing better. There's nothing better than like having like a pair of aces, and then another ace shows up, and then like,
you're like
also
oh shit,
2 kings.
And
you know that someone else has a king. And you're like, but I have the aces.
I have 2 aces. You're fucked, bro.
You can't even fathom the fact that I have 2 aces. Like, there's no indication that I have that.
I am too neutral.
And you think you have the best thing.
I am tabla rosa, and you're betting against that, you fool.
Yeah,
you utter fool. The anxious joy of having it is like just what a great feeling. It's the best feeling about poker.
I love it.
Yeah. What are we doing? What's this? What is this podcast?
So we have our montage.
Oh yeah.
Because I do want to talk about. So he films her pose at a fountain. She cheers at breakdancing. He films her walking her dog.
Yeah.
She gets a hot dog, and then I'm saving it for last. She stares at a human statue for what I believe to be hours.
Yeah, it was a very long time.
They do a time lapse.
Yeah.
She goes to a Statue of Liberty human statue, stares right in her eyes,
right
a foot
there.
away,
Yeah.
and they do a time lapse to show that it's a cute idea, right? Is that she's also a human statue, but how unnerving would it be to be that human statue?
Just creep central.
And this woman just stares you in the eyes and then doesn't stop for I believe the time lapse indicates at least an hour.
Yeah.
That is a haunting thing.
That's an awful day at the statue mines. Awful day. I need to talk very briefly about the street dog. That street dog is certain to have destroyed Sharpay's endocrine system.
It's also certain to be the most delicious hot dog.
No doubt.
That wrecked her. You're right. She's shitting all day.
For 1 week because of that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because she's like, this
Huge
is like,
mistake.
No, this is like going back in time to the Pilgrim days and giving them a hot dog.
Yeah.
They would die.
Yeah.
You know, like she's not used to this. She's used to an Albuquerque country club.
Right. She could have given her bubonic plague and she'd had a better chance to survive it. You know, like that is, she's not ready for that.
Yeah.
Then at the end of the montage, they're painting her.
She goes to the
studio.
pink store.
Yeah, she goes to the pink store where they
all things pink,
paint her apartment pink.
Yeah.
When I was really exhausted.
She's wearing a pink beret.
Yeah, I was really exhausted with this bit. And then, the filmmaker, who's now being filmed while he's painting, he paints over the lens of his camera.
I wrote this down. I screamed.
What are you doing?
Her himbo slave is painting her apartment for her, and she's filming him. And he's like smiling, like, am I doing good?
Yeah.
I'm doing good. Again, very simple man.
Yeah.
And then he paints over the lens of his, and this is where I was like, he's rich. he has no care in the world. He's like, oh, just buy a new camera. It's fine. We're making memories. Painting over the fucking lens.
That's a $10,000 camera, I'm pretty sure. It's an EX1. And like, I don't know what they call. I believe it was an EX1. Let me look at it real quick.
Yeah,
EX1.
This is like, when was this made? Like 2000. I feel like this is like 2009-ish.
So the equivalent camera is currently $1,000. Okay. Well, okay. No, that's not. You can get an EX1 now for $1,000.
I was about to say, every now and then I think of buying because I remember in like 2002 dreaming of having a Canon XL1 and being like, I want that, but I don't have the money. Now I could get that for $5 fucking on eBay, and I'm like, maybe I should. I have no use for it, but be fun to have.
EX1s again, they were not in heavy use in 2011. Like they got outdated pretty quickly. But I would guess they cost $5,000 around that time.
But again, no matter what, the idea is this is his camera.
Yeah,
and
it's
he
not
cares about it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's not the schools.
And he paints over the lens, and I'm like, that even if you had the money, even if you don't care about the price of the camera, you now have to get a new camera.
Yeah, it's just a pain in the ass. Like, why would you do that? You know,
it's a wild offer. Because this is the thing. Again, there's going to be more about his character coming up. His character, they don't. Again, I think they think they're making a scrappy underdog, but they don't really know what that looks like. And it certainly doesn't look like a man painting over the lens of his own camera while making a student film.
I didn't think that was a clear statement about literally anything. Other than like anyone who knows anything about movies is going to be deeply offended by that choice. It was like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, it's completely insane.
Wild thing to happen.
He doesn't have a story. Like, I think this is the moment where he realized he doesn't have a story.
Well, he stands up for one thing. There's a conflict with him that's very brief. And the conflict to me is one of the craziest conflicts. Should we just talk about it?
Sure.
Because he gets mad at her for becoming the assistant of this actress. This film student, street rat, is like, I'm mad at you for having to work for a living.
Yeah.
How dare you start at the bottom?
Yeah.
You're better than that. And I was like, shouldn't that be the opposite? He is supposed to be this scrappy guy who knows New York. He should say to her, this is what you have to do.
Right.
Like, he's like, this film student, he's going to have a world of hurt when he goes into the industry and learns that he has to be a PA, because he's like, this is beneath you. You need to be a star right away. And it's like, motherfucker, do you think you're going to be a Tarantino the moment you graduate?
Because you aren't. No. Yeah.
You're going to be getting coffee, you asshole.
Not only
That's how I know he's just another rich kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Who has no idea what the real world is like.
Not only that, he's PAing for her. Mm-hmm. Everyone who's PAing for everyone is delusional about what it means. It's like, what do you mean you're offended by that?
He's her slave / personal documentarian.
Like, you have not created any narrative here, my dude. So like, you're her servant.
His arc is, he's like, you are the most important, best person in the world. I will take an arrow for you. I will die and kill for you. How dare you be someone else's servant?
Yeah, it was.
We're all your servant.
Pretty wild.
That's his arc. So, they've created this amazing apartment, and this is when I remembered, how long has it been? Because she has a month, and we have gotten a montage. Like, this is in the span of a month. This has to be a few days so far, right?
I think they're pretty clear that 2 weeks have passed at the moment when she agrees to be a PA.
Okay.
Like, they give us a time marker. Yeah, we haven't got to that yet. But that's a time marker.
This is definitely the first week. And it's not unrealistic. I'm not saying it's a plot hole. I'm just saying these people are exhausting.
Oh,
they exhaust me.
Yeah, yeah. It's not.
They've been doing.
We're not
this
having
a few
fun
days.
in this movie until. Well, we're not having fun in this movie.
We're not. Yeah.
Fair way to say
but we go to the audition that she moved to New York City for. A single audition.
Yeah.
And she goes in, and the casting director,
who we never see again.
Yep.
Ever.
And he says, "Wait, did you think we're auditioning you? No, we're auditioning your dog for a play about a dog."
Utterly fucking ridiculous. No casting director in the world would have left that ambiguous like that.
Yeah, he does say like, you didn't get my emails, and it's like, I don't care about the emails. So just to rewind, she gave a performance at this country club.
Yeah,
without her dog.
Yeah.
I think she held her dog as a prop.
maybe
in
the
one
dog
part
was
of
in the
song.
part. Yeah, maybe it was in the scene. I don't remember.
But it was so inconsequential that I genuinely don't remember. This guy saw the dog and said, I'm going to go up to her and say that I want you to come to New York to audition, and I'll leave it at that. She'll know what I meant. She'll
Right.
know that I meant her dog.
Yeah,
And then she acts like she's the biggest fucking asshole when she comes in and
I'm
says,
so
I'm ready for
sorry.
the
I'm
audition."
so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, no, they, of course that's what he's like, no, what did you think? It's called A Girl's Best Friend. And I'm like, a girl's best friend. Like, he acts like the title is a clue. And I'm like, no, it says a girl in the title. She's a girl. So why wouldn't she think she's auditioning for that role?
also,
Colossal asshole, you need to be fired immediately.
yeah, judging by the other cast that's in this film, there are other parts that are not the dog.
Yes.
There's a bunch of parts. Nobody said she was auditioning for the lead.
Right.
Like,
And here, yeah.
what? Yeah, utterly what? Like, at that point, if you're a casting director, by the way, you know what you do? Yeah, go ahead and audition. Well, yeah, here, go ahead.
Right.
Audition for this.
Yeah,
Let her
audition,
fucking
you're
audition.
here.
Let her
Even
do
if
it.
even if they are like, we got it, it's done.
It's
Give
10
her
minutes.
yeah.
It's
And
10
this is
minutes.
where, so first of all, we're learning that they want a live dog in a Broadway play, which to me seems like a nightmare.
Absolutely not. No
But
chance.
what we're-
that'll happen.
Yeah. From this scene on, I wrote, I don't think this movie understands the fundamentals of dog auditions.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes, please continue.
Which is I'm very mad about what this movie thinks it is to audition a dog.
This movie also claims to not understand how animal trainers work, which
Yes.
is hilarious because they had to have several of them to pull this movie off.
Yes, there are some
It's like, what?
amazing moments later with the dog. Because Sharpay is essentially, they must hurt her. Her Zac Efron in this movie is her own dog, who basically gets the role that she wants, right?
Yes, I just need you to know, Dave, apparently there is a musical with live dogs in it. It's called Bark. Bark the musical.
is. I hope it's a chaos. I
Yeah.
hope they never have a good show and it's a nightmare the whole time.
I'm just looking to make sure that it definitely has dogs in it.
So dogs are trainable. I always think about when you go to Universal Studios and they have the animal stunt show. My favorite thing about the animal stunt show is that they'll have Lassie come up and like do a backflip. They'll have birds hit a mark, and then they'll have a cat sort of meander to a location. Because like even in the top, like cats are the ones that are just you cannot
can't do
get a
shit
cat
with
to
them.
do a
Yeah, can't do anything.
It's so funny. There's a cat. There's I think they're called the acro cats. There's a cat performance. They were on one of the late shows, the one with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
And part of the fun is that they can never get the cats to do anything.
Yeah, of course, right.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's all you want is a cat to not cooperate.
And it's just like glitzy music set to cats looking nervous and kind of doing stuff. It's great. Do yourself a favor and watch them.
That's
at
pretty
some
good.
Point.
Apparently, so looking it up, there's actually quite a few instances of animals being in Broadway plays.
Nuts.
Here's an article from 2014 called 6 Unforgettable Animals on Broadway in 2014.
I guess it makes sense.
Okay, so we stand corrected. It still seems like
I
kind
would
of a
argue
mistake.
ramp that up. Warhorse should have been a real horse up there.
Warhorse
Get a
the
real horse
musical.
on it.
That's all I want.
Yeah. Well, it was. It started as a play. Warhorse was a live performance.
Was it a musical?
It was a puppet horse. I don't think it was a musical,
Hmm.
but it's a puppet horse. And I was like, fuck that. I want a horse up there being a liability every night. I want every audience member to sign a waiver before going in.
Man, this might go bad.
You might get killed by a horse.
Yeah, you might
tonight.
get bucked. You might get literally bucked.
Yeah.
What about Air Bud the musical? I feel like how does that not exist?
Yeah. We could.
That's another thing.
Airbuds.
Airbuds.
Airbuds. It's right there.
Is that our next thing? Oh
It could
no!
be. There's so many
Oh,
Airbuds.
no!
I think it might be.
I hate it. I hate.
I'm
that
so excited.
much.
There's like 50 Airbuds.
No, Dave.
AirBuds.
Oh, Dave, we can't do it. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. Let's see how many there are. I need to. Oh, dude, there's so many.
Yeah.
Holy shit,
We might have to stick to the core AirBud movies.
dude. AirBud 1997, AirBud Golden Receiver 1998. Okay, then there's some direct videos. AirBud World Pup.
Yep.
Okay, AirBud Seventh Inning Fetch. AirBud
Yep.
Spikes Back. Okay, then there's a
Yep.
series called Air Buddies.
I was about to say there's Space Buddies.
Air Buddies,
there's-
Snow Buddies, Space Buddies, Santa Buddies, Spooky Buddies,
Yep.
Treasure Buddies,
Yep.
Super Buddies.
Yep.
And then there's Santa Paws, the series, The Search
Yep.
for Santa Paws, Santa
Yep.
Paws 2, The Santa Pups.
Yep.
Dude, Dave, we can't do it, man. There's just
We could do some of them. We could do some
what
AirBuds.
if you didn't do Air Buddies and we just did the
Yeah.
proper Air Buds?
core
it'd be
series, the
be-
core series.
core series. It'd be
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies. 5.
That's like the Avengers movies. They're just the cores. We might miss some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but we might not understand the plot of the fourth one without seeing the Air Buddies spin-offs.
Yeah. Air Buds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, we're gonna fucking do that.
There's
So-
5. Wow.
So we have the saddest. You know what? Actually, I'll talk about that later. Sharpay starts getting down a rung at a time. So
Yeah.
now she has to audition her dog, and she leaves at first.
I was shocked that ended up being a plot line. I thought it was going to keep being a bit that like
Yeah, it was a hell of a twist.
Like
we're here
it
for
was
your
really
dog.
a shock. And like the fact that she stuck around and like, I'm going to do this with the dog was like, I wouldn't do that. I would,
But this is the idea of like, this is where I was like, I wish you cut out Austin Butler and have it be about her dog and how much she loves her dog. And she's like, no, I'm going to leave this
I'm gonna
apartment
support
because
him.
of my dog.
Yeah.
And then this moment where she's like, I really love my dog. I want my dog to have this. But her plan, it's unclear, but her plan seems to be like a stage mom to her dog. And she's going to live through her dog and use her dog
pretty much.
as a stepping stone to get her career going, which I don't think is a thing.
Definitely
But
not.
sure.
100. Like, that's the weird thing is that like when she meets Richie Rich and his dog, that like they both sort of are in the movie too much. You know what I mean? Like they're in
Yeah.
the production way more than they would be. Way
Yes.
more.
Yes.
I mean, like,
Well, this is where we'll talk about the fundamentals of a dog audition
yeah,
soon.
okay, great. Thank
Because again, I do not understand how they think dogs audition for things. But so what's about to happen? So her plan is I'm going to use my dog. I noted here because Austin Butler keeps filming her, and this is the first time I noticed that his camera does not have a microphone. And I was like,
That's
he's
right.
going to kill her. He is
Yeah, there's no
100%
sound.
just going to kill her.
Yeah, there's no sound getting captured here.
Yeah.
Like this is a montage that he's gonna tape up on a wall somewhere. You know, like
Yeah.
that's all it's gonna be.
He's the 7 murderer.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah,
So the audition, she writes and rehearses and trains a song to do with her dog for the audition. I assume that had to be in a day, right? Because they're not waiting around for her.
because it was on the day she showed up. So that's like you mean in a couple hours?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
So she shows up with her dog. They do an audition, an amazing audition song and dance, which again, you might know better than me, but like I assume the way you audition an animal is you bring it on stage, you go, can it do tricks?
yeah.
Can it
Series
follow
of commands. It's a series
Yeah.
of commands. It's not.
You're like, got
Can
it.
it do a musical number?
Has it been in things before?
That's
What does it look like? Does it
Yeah.
match what we want the dog to look like?
No.
Good. But she does a song and dance with her, and the directors love it so much. They charge the stage. They do this like Three Stooges cartoon walk
yeah.
up to the
Loved
stage.
It. Yeah, I love that.
And they
Yeah.
fucking love it. They cut to Austin Butler in the scene, filming in the corner in the dark. And he's loving it. And I was like, what is he doing? Who let him in?
why are they letting him film their intellectually protected copyrighted work?
Yeah,
Why are
I don't think they know he's there. And then this child, Richie Rich, shows up. and
Fucking
they're like,
Richie
we have
Rich, bro.
One more. We have one more.
Does this kid go to school? Is the first and most important.
Does he have parents?
Does he? Is he just a homeless child who dresses very well, but like goes back to his tent?
He is a
at night?
completely unaccompanied child who acts like he is an adult character. He is wearing a suit.
Is he barely keeping it together? Is he fucking wimpy from the Popeyes commercials, man?
Who is allowing this kid to manage his dog actor? Why is he a child? What purpose does that? It feels like it's only to beat Sharpay down more, to be like Sharpay is so pathetic that her main rival is a child.
Well, and also I feel like it's targeted in a very specific way at Ashley Tisdale. Because Ashley Tisdale was a child actor before she was famous.
Yeah.
So this is like, now face your past, motherfucker.
Yeah. This adultless child. I thought like there should have been a reveal that he's like abandoned child who's living in a box with his suit, like ironing it in his box. Yeah. And like we realize like this is all he has. Because the thing is, what she's eventually, spoiler, is going to warm up to this child, but they never earn that. Like they never give the child
not even a little bit. Yeah.
Right. She needs a moment to say, I think she says this, but they never show it. That's like, this is all he has. You know, like this child is living out of a box, eating cans of beans, you know, cutting a single bean up,
cooking, slicing it real thin and fine.
He's got a bindle. And it's like we never have a moment that's like feel bad for this child. He just barges in, and we want to hate him because his resume, he has a dog resume printed on rice paper.
Yeah, he lists
environmentally friendly.
He lists Broadway musicals, and they're all dog puns. And I was fucking furious. Just like, you know what? That's why nobody makes any money on Broadway. Right there. You know what I mean? They're naming this fucking horse shit after
dog musical, these bullshit.
Yeah, Fetch Lives or whatever it is. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know, I was furious about the names of it. Also, the writer and director, they're on meth. They're not sober. They're not dealing with life on the level.
Dog audition. Yeah, it's nuts.
They are giddy about every little thing. Like they are more laughy than many friends I've known who took mushrooms together. Like it was, those dudes are not sober.
I wrote that they're a lot, and they are. Yeah.
But they're a lot in a druggy way, I would argue.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I noted the composer should have been on the show. That would have been really fun.
Yeah. I can't stress enough that this child has no adults, and we're gonna get more of this. So they audition that dog, and they love the dog. So right?
Yes. Okay. Hold on. I'm sorry, Dave. It continues a very disturbing trend. A disturbing trend, which is every child in all these movies either doesn't have parents or is the only child. Okay, yes. Sharpay is literally the only person that has a sibling in this franchise.
Yeah, you're right.
This kid doesn't have a sibling. This kid doesn't have parents.
He doesn't have a family. He doesn't exist.
He is a ghost child.
He's a figment of her imagination.
A ghost child. You know what I mean? Like he's Casper. Like Richie Rich, but dead. You know what I mean? Like that's what the deal is. He also looks like he's dressed for the 1920s. Like no.
He's always been in this theater. He's always been there. That's it.
His little vest and his giant 20s buck teeth. And it's like, what did he get this shit out of an old costume department? Like, what's this?
And this is where it's like this movie, they just keep adding things.
And I'm like,
there's multiple villains. And it's like, we don't need all this.
No, we don't. We definitely don't need Ghost Child and his dog lover. Yeah. You know, we don't need that.
And they do a musical number, and I have to stress, both of these auditions, the dog itself does very little. And it's mainly them dancing and singing around their dog, like, hey, I love the dog, this is my dog. And the dog watching them. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure both of these auditions, they would go next. They'd be like, no, absolutely not. You didn't show me anything the dog could do.
The dog just watches.
You're not auditioning. That's
all the dog does.
It is. It's literally them singing and dancing while the dog watches blankly.
Putting a lot of pizzazz on this audition. Yes. And it's just a dog sitting there looking at it.
Yes. That's the auditions. And the directors are loving it both times. And I'm like, this movie just doesn't understand dog auditions.
No, because
it doesn't even try to understand. It doesn't care. It's so nihilistic in what it thinks a dog audition is. I couldn't get past it.
The director of this film was like, I don't give a shit. I'm taking lunch early. You film whatever you think the dog audition is. And they just like, I don't know, man. Do a little dance, I guess.
Dance around the dog while the dog stares. What happens? Their decision, which is so unhinged, is they go, I can't decide. We'll just have to act. We'll just have to work with both of them through auditions. I was like, are you paying?
I can't decide which dog does absolutely nothing deserves to be employed in this musical.
Dogs, I have to add, are wildly different in breed.
Right. They're not looking for like, oh, okay, we need a Frenchie. You know what I mean? Like they're like, just any dog.
I just can't decide. And I'm like, well, what breed did you want? What were you usually they start with the breed.
Right.
So it's like, you'd think the fact that they can't decide, it's like, they look so different. If you're like, it's a tie in performance. Well,
pick what dog do you like? Do you like the dog from As Good as It Gets? Or do you like the Cavalier Spaniel? Because either of them can be a look.
But no, they decide we're gonna presumably pay both of you, pay for 2 dogs, and we're gonna run auditions up until the night of,
and then pick the dog out of a hat, basically.
Yeah, and pick the dog and like lead one of you along this journey. I assume we're paying them. Otherwise, fuck this. And so that's their plan.
Yeah.
And that is an insane plan.
So forgive me. I need to mention at some point, Sharpay is accused of being selfish, or Sharpay is being portrayed as selfish, and she's fumbling for the word selfish. And Austin Butler is like, you mean selfish? And she's like, oh, I guess that's the word.
Right.
Like she doesn't, like her brain doesn't
never heard
know
the word.
The language of selfish. It matters because we're about to get to another incident that was like, what?
Because also, like, I would argue, I get that it's supposed to be a joke.
I guess
it's the wrong word. And what I mean is I wrote a joke in Somewhere News where Katie can't remember the word sorry.
Yeah,
and that makes that makes sense in the regard of someone not ever apologizing.
Right.
But it's not like she wouldn't tell other people selfish.
Exactly. She would do that all the time. That's what selfish people do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Then we meet Amber Lee finally, right? Which is where you were going, I assume.
No, we have one more thing.
Oh, okay.
Because the movie does one of, I believe, 12 sequences where the dogs love each other.
Yes. I thought it was a funny twist at first. Like I was like, oh, that's funny. The dogs are in love. I get it. That's funny.
It's more to me that I'm like, we don't need more.
Yeah, no.
We've
agree with that.
Child,
yes.
Austin Butler. We have another love story. If they had stripped this down, if Austin Butler wasn't in it, I think this would be a great idea.
I thought it was kind of good in isolation. The dogs being in love. I kind of like that.
I would have completely cut Austin Butler.
Yeah,
and I would have kept this weird child. Because they end up, spoilers, they end up uniting about their love for their dogs. And it was like, if you focused on her love for her dog and the idea that the dog also has a love story, that's the love story of the movie. But the both endearing and troubling problem is that the dogs, they do this like, they do the Wayne's World fucking Dreamweaver. Like they're both looking at each other. There's love
it was
music.
Funny the first time.
It is because what makes it great is the dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
No expression.
Yeah, it is flat as a lifeless doll.
Insect eyes. Yes. And that makes it funny. I'm glad they didn't like CGI one of the dog going like, whoa,
Oh, yeah. I wish that would have been some real Renesmee shit, and that would have freaked us both out.
So we learn that the dogs love each other at first sight, and they're going to fuck each other.
Sure.
They're going to raw dog.
A thing we needed to actually have stated in this film and didn't.
Right.
Huge problem.
And now Sharpay's mission is to destroy this child while their dogs love each other.
This ghost child. Just to be clear, they don't know their dogs are in love. They never seem to fully understand that. No matter how it's presented.
Senses the love of dogs later is Austin Butler. He picks up on it immediately.
Yeah, he's like, oh, those dogs are in love. Yeah.
They're in love. Have you never watched dogs be in love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a funny thing for a human to say, though, by the way, like out of the context of a movie. Like, just imagine in real life if somebody came up to you like, hey, man, your dog's in love with this other dog.
Right.
You'd be like,
it makes me.
What are you saying? Dogs don't fall in love. What are you fucking talking
It
about?
makes me think
You
that he
serial killer?
was a dog at one point.
Yeah, there's some real sorcery going on behind the scenes here.
Yeah.
Is this when the pink overload finally ends, by the way? Because there's a moment where the film decided, oh, Sharpay no longer wears pink.
Yes,
Did
at
you
the
notice
audition,
that?
she stops wearing pink at the audition. I wrote
Yeah.
that down. I noted that. Yeah.
I couldn't figure that out. It was like, why did that happen? Like, did it mean something?
I think it does. It's supposed to show that she's maturing. The problem is that that's it. That's all they should do.
All right. I'm gonna let
Welcome
that
to
go.
the real world. She has to fight this Ben Shapiro motherfucker, these dogs. So he starts recording her filming basic tricks in their absolutely haunting relationship. We meet Hefty Stagehand, who I love.
Loved him. Absolutely loved
his
him.
miserable life.
Yeah, he
hates
very
every
unhappy.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very unhappy. Yeah, he must love the theater more than anybody.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because he's not making a living doing that. There's no way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we
Anyway.
start learning about the play, which as far as I could tell at first wasn't a musical. It was like a comedy about a mother and daughter. So we meet the actress, right?
Yes,
we meet
Amber
the
Lee.
actress.
Yes.
Amber Lee.
Our first impression of her is she doesn't know the word wow.
She
I was deeply offended by
is
that.
a fucking alien.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't understand.
She doesn't know what jokes are.
Right.
She doesn't know the concept of a
Right.
joke.
Right. She keeps asking questions of the writing, like, and it's unclear to me because the writing of the movie is so not good.
Right.
Like, is it a joke that she doesn't get a joke? Is that a plot point that she doesn't get a joke?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, she kept questioning stuff in this. Like, is she a bad actor? Is that what we're saying here? Right. It was unclear what
Yeah.
that was about.
I think the idea is supposed to be she's a hack. And so she's a bad actress is the idea, I think.
They didn't do
she
that.
doesn't she
clearly.
keeps saying jokes and everybody laughs and she goes, "Why are you laughing?" And they're like, "Well, it's a joke we wrote. We're laughing because we wrote you a joke and you said the joke." And so it's this scene where she's saying goodbye to her mother, going to the big city to make it.
Yeah.
And then the dog is supposed to show up and I think be sad she's leaving. In the scene.
It's very unclear what the dog is ever doing other than fetching props.
I wrote it all caps. Is this role a walk on for the dog? Because it occurred to me that it seemed like what the scene was is that she has to leave her dog behind.
Yeah.
And the dog. So what we get is a series of them trying to sabotage each other and one up each other. So Sharpay's dog comes up with like a letter. And the joke is that the letter is moist. And then the other dog seems to do an improv. It ad-libs.
Yeah, like
and brings
pulls
a
its
kennel.
carrying case. Yeah.
Right. And I was like, wait, is the original script that she leaves the dog at home? And then we never see the dog again. And it's called A Girl's Best Friend. Like, surely the dog improvs the idea that it's coming with her. And they love it.
Yes.
And I was like, this is a crucial plot moment in this play.
I don't think you would be cool with this kind of improving from your
right.
animal.
You can't, so we have to assume that this play is about she leaves her dog home for the big city. And I'm assuming it's like a Homeward Bound where the dog finds her. So this would undercut. Yeah, this would undercut the entire fucking idea if the dog's like, I'll come with you here at Act 1. So like, yeah, that's what I mean, where they're like, oh, that's adorable. What a great improv. And I'm like, no, that's a complete plot change. The dog is improvising. The dog is doing rewrites on the script to give itself a bigger part.
Yeah, and the writer, as we learn later, is already a little put upon.
Yes.
The writer of this play. By the way, in the play world, writers are king.
Yes.
Like writers rule the play world.
Very funny.
So like, you know, the writer acting like nobody respects them is absurd. Anyway, yeah. I'm sorry. Did we pass the part where we're now filming Sharpay in her room? They're just filming her in a room, and then she was like feeling
This
like
is where she's training the dog, right?
okay. So because there's a crucial thing that happens. She's starting to feel like giving up or whatever.
Right.
And she asks him, like, why do you do all this? And he says, look, I'm going to make a student film. Or she goes, why are you filming me all the time? I'm going to make a student film. I'll get the professors talking. They'll create a buzz. Then from the buzz, then I'll get into a film festival. And
That's
then the
adorable.
film festival will lead to somebody will read my script. And I'll then be getting an Oscar. He says those words out loud.
Oh, this poor kid.
Yeah. The Professor Buzz is the funniest shit I've heard in this movie or this franchise. Like, it was like, Professor Buzz, they don't care at all about your film, man.
Yeah,
What
why
do
would
you
they care?
Like even if it's amazing, they might think it's very good. They
This
might mention
kid-
it to their colleagues. They're not calling Sundance, be like, bro, you got to see what I saw.
I can't. It's a wonder this kid has survived.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Yeah. I feel like the moment someone's like, "Hey kid, I read your script. Come to this alleyway," and he's gonna get off the plane at LAX and be stabbed in 30 seconds.
Yes,
somehow.
they're gonna actually do the murder he is not competent enough to do earlier in the film. Yes,
This kid is the most naive fucking person in the world.
Professor Buzz.
Which, like, listen, I went
thrilling.
to film school. There are people like this in film school.
Oh yes,
But
there are.
it's
Yes,
just like, my goodness.
yeah. It just was a funny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just very funny how simple and absurd
He's
his
a real
idea
Forrest
is.
Gump.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, needed
So-
to mention it.
Yeah, and this is where we learn again. This play appears to be about Sharpay's life. Which, if I was Sharpay, I'd be like, "That's fucking weird."
Yeah, who's filming me? Like, I would ask
this man
kid
has
who's
been
filming me. Are you
and
stealing?
the play is about my life.
Yeah, am I being Truman showed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, so we get a series of her and Ben Shapiro sabotaging each other. We get the split screen where they put chicken on the shoes of the actress.
Yeah, he has gloves. This kid has like gloves
Yep.
and Tupperware for this purpose. He's like, I'm going to chicken the shit out of these shoes.
Yep.
The actress
She
doesn't smell the chicken rot.
I was about to say they do a series of sabotages that no one seems to notice,
Yeah.
but like she blows a whistle that everybody can hear
Oh yeah.
to distract the other dog,
Yeah.
and then he releases a cat.
A wild
it's
cat,
like-
a giant cat, by the way.
Yes.
Like it was like a bobcat or something. It was
Yes.
like not a normal cat.
To which the director should say, "Okay, stop everything.
Enough
stop.
of your horse shit.
I have
kids.
clearly created a toxic environment
Right.
where I'm making these two people compete. I'll just pick a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Obviously.
we'll rip the Band-Aid off."
Obviously. Or that's where the director says, listen, young ma'am who's like accompanying the dog and unaccompanied dog with mystery cat alongside it. They'd blame it all on her is the point. They would like, 'cause, this ghost kid doesn't exist. So like they'd blame her, Sharpay, for bringing all this bullshit. Anyway,
Exactly.
you get it.
And we're slowly establishing also that the main actress doesn't like dogs. Hence the racism against dogs in this movie.
Yeah.
We also, something
She's
starts
boring.
to happen.
She's boring. Amber Lee was boring and mustache twirly to me.
Yes. She needed more fun. I agree.
She needed to not be so obviously shitty and evil.
We needed like a comedian playing her that was like really,
Yes.
and we needed her lines to be better written. We needed someone who, because they don't give her anything on the page. So it's like, she needs to do something wackier and like, she needs to be bigger. She needed to be like the teacher, the drama teacher.
Yeah. I don't know who the right actor for that part is, but somebody
I don't
funny. Maybe even Amy Poehler. You know what I mean? Like, I know Amy Poehler's not.
That would be a great Amy Poehler. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't think they could get her, but yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where something starts creeping into this movie that is truly, truly incredible premise. So the stagehand says to her, and I know this is just a joke, but he says, "I have to take the dogs for a nap. Union rules."
Union rules.
And Sharpay gives her dog to this man.
Yeah.
And he just takes their dogs.
Yeah.
And I guess I want to skip ahead a little bit because did you notice there's a scene later where Sharpay is late for the rehearsal and she gets there and her dog is already doing stuff.
Yeah, I did notice that.
What begins to happen is her dog has its own life. She gets big timed by her own dog. Her dog begins to gets wrapped up in the glitz and glam of theater, and I do believe has its own driver because the dog gets to the theater before her. So her dog is taken like a cab. Her dog just becomes its own character, much like this parrotless child in New York, I guess. Even a dog can just like her dog should have had his own like apartment at some point.
Dave, I just want to take a moment and be grateful to you for noticing that.
Yeah,
thank you. That really improves this movie to me. To imagine
it's a wild thing that happens.
To imagine the dog getting its own life together, like succeeding in New York, is what a thrilling What a
But that's
thrilling
what
moment.
happens. The dog starts getting its own life.
Yeah.
They nap together, the two dogs. They absolutely fucked.
Oh, yeah.
I was surprised there wasn't a puppy reveal in this movie, to be honest. I thought it was going to end with that.
I mean, I know that I know it's Disney. It just seemed very strange to me that they never even Lady and the Tramp. Yeah, they never even Lady and the Tramp these dogs.
They have a brief moment. We'll talk about that.
Okay, great. Yeah,
because that was a glorious moment.
So like I would also say, and I don't mean to disappoint you, Dave, I definitely started tuning out a lot in the back half of this movie.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like not tuning out, like not watching it, just like I just didn't have a lot of like thoughts on it because it was sort of one long beat for a while.
Yeah.
The internship was one long beat, basically.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, I definitely have some long stretches. But we get a Kelsey Grammer moment. And what I mean is the actress threatens the dogs for upstaging her.
Yes.
Which is seriously a thing Kelsey Grammer apparently did about Frasier. He got mad at the dog while filming Frasier. There's a whole thing about Kelsey Grammer feeling like he was upstaged by the dog, or like it's very funny. It's a very funny thing for Kelsey Grammer to do. And like it's a written interview, so it's like maybe he was joking, but it doesn't matter. It's funny, you know. It
is funny. I mean, just hearing about it, I'm like, wow.
Yep.
You know.
There's a scene where her dad FaceTimes, and I just want to note that the scene starts with her and the himbo both at their laptops quietly typing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are they doing together?
Yeah, what is this date?
Are they married?
Yeah. Yeah.
And at this point, again, it was another moment I was like, it hasn't been a month. And they're acting like they've been dating for years.
Yeah, that felt late relationship a bit, right?
Yeah.
Dad
pops in a generic video chat window
and mentions how weird the background is, but never asks, what about, can I see the apartment that I'm paying for? Incidentally, this whole thing falls apart on the premise of she doesn't have her own money. He would have had to pay for this studio also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
right. He's paying the rent of the penthouse.
Yeah. So what are we talking about?
So it's weird that she's like, I have to hide the studio. That's why it seems like, again, it's like rich producers being like, it's fine. She just gets a studio. You know, you get a studio.
You know how you find one. And it's like, yeah, but she doesn't have a job or money.
Right.
Right.
If her dad's, how much money is like walking around money is her dad giving her that she's spending on the studio, I guess?
Even if she spent it on a credit card, I guess because maybe that's why there was a month timeline, is like because he would look at the statements and be like, well, why am I paying all this money to some downtown place or whatever? So maybe that's some of the logic behind why it's a month, an insane amount of time.
Right.
Anyway, please continue.
We get some plant and payoff. This scruffy stagehand says to her, "You're hot." It doesn't reveal that he means your mic's hot.
Yeah.
This is Butch. That's
Butchie. Yeah. Finally. I kind of liked Butchie. It was weird in the right way, I thought.
Yeah.
You're hot.
Oh yeah, he was a weird freak.
Yeah. And like, by the way, most executions of this, that goes like this. They go, "You're hot." And then she goes, "Excuse me." He's like, "Your mic is hot." You know what I mean? Like that's how it goes.
But he like knew what he was doing.
Yes, exactly. He was definitely being a pervert. That's all.
Yeah. This is where she becomes the assistant. And this is where it's like you predicted become a PA. So what's happening here is one of the saddest things in Sharpay's life. The actress says she fires her assistant because she's a monster. And she says, "Sharpay, why don't you become my assistant? That'll make me warm up to your dog and recommend your dog." So Sharpay's plan, and then that turns into maid. So she becomes the maid of an actress in a musical to get the actress to favor her dog, so her dog gets a role in a play that Sharpay could use to launch her own career. At this point, I was like, just do another audition.
Yeah, just find another audition.
Yeah.
It's baffling how stupid she is. Like I also like the whole reason she doesn't want to go home is because she doesn't want to work. A fact they keep sort of reinforcing work. And it's like, you're doing the worst work in the world, and surely you know that.
Right, but also for a theater kid, you're kind of living the dream as much as the dream can, because we are to understand this is a Broadway musical.
Right.
And she is an assistant on it, and her dog might be in it. That's better than a lot of, theater kids, right? Like, that's pretty good.
Sure.
As a start.
But let's accept it from her point of view. What does she think work is?
Right.
If she'd rather do this than that.
Right.
What does she think work is?
Right. Yeah. If she becomes a barista, it's like you don't have to scrub toilets.
Well, that's the thing, because that toilet shot is very disturbing, because they do a little trace up to the toilet, and there are black dots on the tile leading up to the toilet. You know what I mean? Like, that shot was like, are you saying this actress was dripping poop on the way to the toilet?
I think they were.
Are you
I think
saying
they were saying
that?
Or was it like black, like old crusted blood? Either way,
what are you
terrible
saying happened in this toilet?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Did she have to shit so bad she didn't quite make it, and she had like a spray as she was she ate one of those hot dogs, and she shit all over the bathroom. And she's like, Sharpay, clean my shit.
Because it was... I just don't know what they thought they were saying. Like, looking at it, it's like, is that supposed to be the pattern of the tile?
Maybe.
It looks like chaos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was a very distressing inclusion.
Shit splatter, yeah.
It really looked like that. You know, like, I couldn't figure out what we were saying here.
And the movie has gone off the rails, because now this is one more thing. It's like she has to be a maid. It's the saddest plan in the world.
It doesn't make any sense. It's clearly like, we're gonna beat the hell out of Ashley Tisdale's character again. Poor Sharpay is gonna get the shit kicked out of her again.
And she's kind of cold to her himbo slave, and he's like put off by it. And it's like, you've done nothing but serve her. Why is she any different right now? She's like, I'm kind of busy. And then this is where it starts being like, this is beneath you. How dare you get a job?
Yeah, I didn't think he would. I thought it would make more sense if he was sort of like, you're already working. Like, that's the thing. Like, I think if he's the dose of reality, that's the thing that he should have said, right? It's like, you're already working for her. What's the difference?
Yeah, he's like, welcome to New York.
Yeah, exactly. But to me, it's like, that should have made her realize, you know what? I'm not going to do this shit for free, and I don't need this dog audition.
Yeah,
like the reality of it, like, you're already working. Do you not see that?
She really doesn't need this dog audition. Yeah, because again, it's like the Key and Peele sketch where the two guys are scheming to go to a bank and work and get money in exchange. Right. Where it's like, what's the scheme at this point? You're doing a job. Yeah, for money.
Exactly. Yeah, we really lost our way there. Amber Lee's rage at the dogs that she hates the dogs. I couldn't figure out why people would care that she acted that way. Like, I understand that it's setting up the end. I get that it's setting up the end.
Yeah, they're trying to cancel her. They're going to cancel her for hating dogs.
Right. And okay, but like
in the moment, you're right. In the rehearsal, it's like, you're an actor. Just act like you like dogs. As long as you can act like you like dogs. I don't care if you like dogs.
But even if she got upset at the dog, like, and sort of had like a little mini freak out, which is what happened, I just didn't believe people would be like, how dare you?
Is this where the Richie Rich sabotages her?
I think it is.
He gets the new script changes.
Oh yeah, the sides.
He throws them away.
Yeah.
And they don't get to the dog, which is very funny to me. Because again, this is when she's been working. She's late because she was doing assistant shit. And she walks in, and the dog is doing the rehearsal.
Right.
Can't stress this.
But the wrong one. But the wrong. But
he's read the wrong sides. The dog has read the wrong she hasn't gotten the right sides to the dog. That is seriously what happens in this scene. The dog is. I can't stress enough that she walks in,
and the dog is doing the part.
Having been out in New York, and the dog is on stage. Like, where have you been? I've been here doing my job, and you're out there doing your other job.
I'm glad you decided to join us. That was the vibe Boy was giving off. The dog Boy.
Her dog.
Boy.
Fucking dog.
Boy is the worst fucking name. I'm sorry. What? Give it a personality. Chad? Anything.
Right.
You know?
The most logic this can make is the idea that... because the thing about dog trainers is they own the dogs. They're their dogs.
Right.
So is she the trainer? Because if she's the trainer, then she would be there all the time.
Right.
They seem to imply that she has given her dog to the theater, like, as property. Like, this is now you take care of the dog.
That's certainly what's implied. Yeah. So that whole circumstance leads to the dog day, right?
This is where the dogs run away because they're in love. And I was rooting for them.
They also wet the dogs down.
I'm so glad you said this.
I was thrilled. They went down.
I knew. I wrote Adam was going to be so happy. They were filming the dogs.
The meticulous choice.
That fucking pervert was there, and he threw the switch, and they're like, "Oh, you're wetting the dogs too." And he's like,
man,
"Gotta wet the dogs.
We don't need this. Like, we don't care." Yeah, we do. We fucking care.
I think so. I feel like there's some producer, right? Some wild-eyed producer who every time they make a movie says, "You got to wet them," and they go, "Why?" And they're like, "How else are you going to tell they're in love?"
Yeah, how else would you
like
know?
That,
you get real wet when you're in love.
Yeah, there's some producer who had written on a chalkboard, "Wet equals love."
Yeah,
and that was all this guy knew.
That's right. So I think in real life, it's that they all love The Notebook so much.
Yeah,
because I feel like The Notebook's sort of the trope there, but it was so funny to me that they did it with the dogs. It was like it was absurd in the second movie.
It's like they knew. It's like they knew.
It is like they knew. I completely agree.
So the dogs, they run away. They fuck in the trash.
Yes,
I assume.
I wanted Austin Butler to say the line, "Oh, I caught him humping and vomit."
Humping in the trash.
Yeah, that's what. That's what I wanted.
They're like getting in all. They're eating rats.
Oh, they are.
They're like doing disgusting.
They're
acts.
doing every animal
Caligula
thing.
shit.
Right. Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Like if they're a trained dog and they're like, "Fuck it, I'm not doing what they want anymore." They're trash boys at that point. Like, what's the worst thing a dog can do? They're doing all that.
Their stomachs are filled with condoms.
Yeah. It is a bender. It is a bender.
And they take a romantic carriage ride, which I was like, who paid?
Who paid for that? Exactly. That's the first question I had. So this fucking guy by the way, if you go to New York, those dudes, they want to get paid. Like they're looking at you. They're looking at you like the fucking vultures.
I love this
just
idea
like,
of
are you going to pay?
Getting in the ride and him being like, yeah, fuck it. I'll take these dogs for a spin. I don't give a shit.
Just because of the love of it. Just because I love this work. I'm going to do it because I love it. Yeah.
And then they're running, and that's when the rain starts out of nowhere, and they soak these dogs.
You fucking wet the dogs down.
I couldn't believe it.
But we were both happy, right? Like I felt happy, and I was like, I knew you'd be happy.
So happy.
Yeah.
They identified the key love story, and they wetted it. They wetted them up.
They wet those dogs down. Yeah, I was so proud of them.
And this is where they have the owners unite over their love for the dog, and I thought it was a good idea, genuinely good idea.
Yeah,
because this is where they realize like we both love our dogs, we're not so different. And then here comes Himbo, and he's like, I found these dogs. They were at the apartment. They're in love, and I'm like, oh,
they're in love,
sweet man.
Yeah, what do you? Yeah, you know,
I can sense the heat of their genitals. They're both in heat, and they love each other.
I think I should tell my professors get a buzz going.
Make them kiss. I filmed them loving each other.
That'll get some buzz around the college.
Yeah. This fucking troubled little man. And that's when I wrote, once again, I guess this has only been a month.
I feel like before she kisses him at the end, she should have put a sequined hat on him so they look more like her brother, so that they could have really like.
Put that cap on.
Yeah.
Put a white vest. Yeah, that's better.
There we go. Now you're looking good.
All right. This is where he says, "Lately, you've had no time for me."
Yeah,
and I was like, they've known each other for 2 weeks, and she's auditioning for a play. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah,
yesterday you had no time for me.
Yeah, you haven't been together for years.
Yeah,
and he literally says, "What happened to that girl I knew?" And I'm like, "The girl you knew a week ago, man.
Yeah,
why are you putting this on her?"
Yeah. Quick question: do you even really know her? Like, what's happening is you're meeting her. That's what's happening.
Yes.
You know?
What happened to this girl that I met once?
Yeah.
And so this is where he's like, yeah, it's bullshit. You're working too much. This is resolved in a day. He goes to bed angry, and then the next day.
Over. Yeah. It's over. So then we're at the dress rehearsal.
Yeah, and this is when the actress was like, I want to cut the dogs from the show.
Yes.
And they're like considering it. And I'm like, what? How malleable is this fucking story?
Yeah, what is the story of this?
What is the story? Yeah,
I don't know what we're dealing with anymore, because that seems really stupid.
She learns that she's being betrayed here. Yeah,
Right. Well, so then they do the whole, that's where Sharpay gets confirmed that she's being betrayed. But like,
Right.
if Sharpay had a brain in her head, she would have known she was being betrayed
Of course.
30 minutes ago in this movie.
Yeah.
You
She
know?
goes back to Himbo and he says, if it helps, you look adorable. And I would hit him in the neck.
This sets off a series of interactions that should have ended with being punched in the neck. That's the first one. But like, I feel like when Amber Lee gets betrayed, should have punched Sharpay in the neck. When Amber Lee leaves the stage and shoves the stagehand, should have punched the stagehand in the neck. You know what I mean? Like, I just want a series of punches in the necks. Yeah, like they're all great. And we needed them. Yeah, we needed it.
So this is where they like. So she sucks it up, and she does the worst lesson of this movie, which is if someone's bad to you, you gotta rat fuck them. You gotta rat fuck them real good.
That's right. Eat or be eaten is the moral of this movie.
That's the moral.
Yeah.
So she shows up. The dogs lick each other. They are dating. The dogs are dating.
They're going steady in dog world.
Yeah,
they're definitely going.
They should have soaked them up in this scene.
Yeah, they should. They needed to be a little bit wetted down before. Like,
they should have shaken a drink and sprayed them with the
seltzer water.
Yeah.
That'll get you in the place that you need to be in.
The kids, her and the kids say, okay, let's unite to ruin this other lady.
Right. And all they do is put a live mic on her and then get her to talk.
Yeah, she hugs her and gets her to admit. And so, well, all right. Are we at that point? Because this is okay.
Yeah. What else is there?
Yeah. The scheme is she hugs her and turns on her mic. And then they get the dogs to go near her. And she screams. And that's important. She screams about how much she hates dogs.
Yes.
And the idea is it's on a hot mic. And then at the appropriate moment while she's screaming, they open the curtain, revealing the audience there. I would argue we don't need the hot mic.
Yeah. She could have heard it. Yeah.
1 foot behind the curtain. Yeah. Screaming about how she hates these dogs.
Yes.
And they can hear her without the mic.
I would have, if I was there, I would have thought this was part of the show.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you be like, oh, this is part of the performance? That's interesting.
Screaming backstage.
Right.
And I would assume this is a bit.
Yeah. It's part of the show.
Yeah.
And it would have been cool, honestly. Like a cool beginning.
It would have been.
I wouldn't have instantly booed.
Yeah.
I've been like, what's all this about? You know?
But we get this lady self-destructing, a very dark moment. She does it like a Darth Vader. You and I are exactly alike to Sharpay.
Yes, she does. Yeah. Well, and she's right.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you know.
And then she quits. She says, fuck this, and leaves. And they're like, we have to get her back. And I'm like, the audience just booed her for hating dogs. I don't think you should get her back.
Yeah, this is viral now.
I think she's done.
This moment is on the internet now. So
right, she's cooked.
It's over. Yeah.
I think they needed to stretch it out because they then fire Sharpay.
I mean, yeah, because, and if, you know, like, it's not fair, but it does make sense that they would. It's like, well, you fucking ruined our show that we sunk all this money into. Incidentally, before they do the curtain introduction thing, the director gets up and says, I'm the director. And the writer gets up and says, I am the unappreciated writer.
And the audience loves it.
The audience cheers for him. And it was like, I just wanted, I wanted to look up the screenwriter for this and be like, get over it, man. Yeah, like, for real, get over it. You know, like,
you're writing
that's
Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure.
That's enough. You know, we don't need this shit.
That's enough.
We don't need it.
You're done, sir. You're done.
Like, you know, I'm not mad at you, and good for you for getting a gig.
Just disappointed.
Yeah, that's right. And I think I'm correct. I think that's the correct opinion.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah,
it was awful.
Yeah.
So Sharpay, they fire her, and she's like, "You go get him, Richie Rich." She's made the selfless act of destroying another actress's career for the greater good. And then we go back to her apartment, and Austin Butler says, you still have 8 hours. And I was like, or what? Is a bomb going to go off in her neck? We're down to the hour of her 2 months or her 1 month. And that I thought was very funny because it's like, no, 8 out, you would be going to the airport.
Yeah,
or
it's been over.
It's been over.
It's been over. He won. By the way, the writer of this movie does a lot of Broadway stuff, including Tootsie, which he won a Tony for.
Amazing.
13, Hercules.
Amazing.
Shucked,
So he didn't need this. He didn't need this kid.
No, no, I think he's just making money. He wrote the screenplay for 13 the musical, Teen Beach movie, Teen Beach 2, the Sweet Life movie. You know, so this is kind of his.
It's a working writer.
Yeah.
Good on him.
And he's also had a hard life, so you know, looking at his life, it's like, oh well, that's kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So anyway, good for you, man. Didn't care for your jokes, but that's all right. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still disappointed.
Yeah,
in that line.
Yeah, me too.
So she has 8 hours. Also, I don't. As someone who's worked with like producers and stuff, I rarely blame unless the writers like J.J. Abrams, they have perfect control. It's someone taking just like tens of thousands of notes and trying to make them work. So it's like
yes. I don't
so
think anyone had the note that's like, can you make some jokes about how a writer is underappreciated?
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think anybody had that note.
No, for sure.
Did you want Sharpay to be successful? I know we knew she was gonna be. But like at this point in the movie where she lost this job, she met face to face her destiny, right? Like what you become.
I wanted her to have peace as a character. And that doesn't have to be success. I just needed her. I wanted to win because that's the easiest way for her to get peace in this moment. Like my like insect brain just wanted the movie to end. Like that's what I wanted. But like I would say that I just wanted her to find some sort of peace.
I think it would have been really interesting for her to realize she was damn good at producing. Because she is good at producing. She's good at putting stuff together. She's really good at that. She's always been really good at that. You know, like putting a show together and stuff. And you know that she doesn't want to become the monster it takes to be the lead of the show.
Yeah.
That would have been I mean, in her case, that's what would have been true.
For sure.
You know, I don't know. I know that's not how a Disney movie goes, but it would have been really interesting.
I mean, it feels like we brought her on this huge journey here, and they just don't have an arc. It just feels like we're just going in a straight line the whole time. Because the first song is like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it. And then the end is, you made it.
You made it. I did make it. Yes.
Yeah. Through being shitty. Like, no arc. No, like, I made it and I earned it by learning
revenge.
Humility.
Yeah, by being a jerk and taking revenge.
Yeah.
And exploiting other people who were too nice to do the same thing to me.
Yeah.
I really thought the gentle Ashley Tisdale here in these scenes was very good. I was like, oh shit, you can really act.
I agree.
I was really impressed with her.
So
the third act of this movie is when we finally remember it's a fucking musical.
Yes.
It hasn't been a musical for a good 60 minutes.
She gets called to get her dog's stuff.
Yes.
And I was like,
get the dog's stuff. Can you unpack
someone
the
pick
locker?
Up his car?
Yeah. It's got a rental. It's due tomorrow. Can you clean that out?
Yeah. And we get this scene where the director is talking to the cast and says, we don't have a star.
Yeah.
We're canceling the play.
Yeah.
And Himbo comes in and goes, wait, watch this documentary I made.
Yeah. That is a single scene. None of the stuff you've seen filmed is in it. It's this whole other scene where I might have just left the camera going.
Right.
If I wasn't present for it, I might have just left it.
B-roll.
Yeah.
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 And it's her singing with her dog. And I was like, they already saw this.
Yeah, they know this already.
They're like, yeah, we saw her sing with her dog. We weren't impressed, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, this is just the audition again.
Right. Very strange.
But we get a song, so that's good.
I guess it was good.
They do the heightened reality, and she's singing on a stage, and her dog's just watching her sing.
That's the part. I think we've agreed that's what the part is for the dog.
Oh yeah.
Is to faithfully watch. You know what I mean?
But I get why they wanted this redemption for her, because it's her getting to save a show as opposed to being destroyed by a show or destroying a show. You know what I mean? Like usually it was Zac Efron running in to being like, I'm here. Don't worry, I'm here.
Right.
She gets to be the savior.
Yeah, and it's appropriate for what this movie is. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, there's always a more interesting movie than the one they made in High School Musical. Like, that's what I would say the through line of this franchise is usually there's a better movie that they didn't make.
Yes.
So yeah, and they didn't make the movie where she actually grows up.
No, they didn't. And like they had to, for them, it was just about success equals she's in a show.
Right. She stabbed some backs and pissed some people off to get there. And
Right. They
no
try to
doubt
give her
she'll
some
kill them.
humility. She tells the himbo she's scared at one point.
I
I'm
like that.
Why would you be scared?
I like
but
that
yeah.
scene,
So but first they say, Sharpay, can you please be in the show? And she says, I will, under the condition that the dog is played by both dogs. To which they should say, no, that would be confusing.
Yeah, I'd be confused about who's who.
Yeah.
They're not
the
the same
audience is
dog.
going to be like, so she has two dogs? Like
Yeah,
that. What? Like, again, they should have picked a dog at the start.
This
whole thing would have been solved had the director said, you know what? This isn't how auditions go for dogs. Let's just pick a dog and move on. It's not that crucial.
Yeah. Have you ever seen those daily talk shows where they take a kid that's misbehaving and put him through boot camp?
Yeah.
That's what this whole movie is. It's like theater boot camp for her. You know what I mean? Like I'm half expect that Mari Povich is going to walk out and say, "Have you learned anything?"
Right.
And
she would answer, "What? No, absolutely not.
I've never
This was
learned.
chaos."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what lesson are you teaching me here?
Yeah.
It's wild. Like, I can't stress enough that this whole thing would have been solved due to like just a regular dog audition, just a normal dog audition.
This whole thing would have been solved if the dad had called her brother and said, "Hey, can you help her out with an audition?"
I wrote here, like, where's her brother?
Yes,
in any of
I did
this?
too. I also wrote it at this point. I thought it was weird that he wasn't there.
Yeah.
I really thought it was weird. It was like, they can't get that guy for this?
Right.
All due respect, but like, I don't think he's so busy he couldn't do this movie.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So the play starts finally. It starts with her in front of the shittiest backdrop of a mansion.
Yeah.
I was like, they have an orchestra. And I was like, you can certainly, and when it reveals a beautiful set. So I was just like, do a better job at I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah.
And the song is about her. The song, the opening song of the play.
She's always been the caretaker, Dave. She's always been the caretaker.
And it's about how she's got to go to New York and it's like a meta art piece about her life.
Yeah.
And she's going to get her break.
Surprised that she fits into it so well, actually.
And it's like the ending. Yeah, it's like the ending of the game. Her parents are suddenly there.
Exactly.
And I'm like, this was all put on for her. There's no way it
does feel like the
wasn't.
game. Yeah, the game. That's what this is. This is the game. They've the gamed her. Wow.
They hired the same people who did the game for Michael Douglas.
This is her game. Right.
Yeah. But she seems to the thing there's the dream logic where she doesn't seem to be questioning these things. So it feels like she's also the gaming herself, like she's LARPing this.
Well, this is
she's doing a song about her life and she never stops and goes like,
how would this be the song? Yes. How could this be happening? Right. That's why I've always been a little unclear about whether they're saying she is delusional.
Right. Because the only reason she wouldn't question is because she just thought this is what life was. Right.
But they don't do a very good job of like contrasting her with real life. Like, yes, she's rich and privileged, but they don't do a good job of like, but this is how life really works. And she doesn't know shit.
No, I mean, they don't.
Arrested Development does that, I would say, really well.
It really feels like they don't go into this with any intent. No. Like these movies are just this scattershot of ideas.
No.
And like in the other High School Musicals, I sort of understood why. And what I mean by that is the other High School Musicals, they probably sat down and went, all right, Twitter loves these characters. They love, or whatever Twitter was when they made it.
Yeah, Facebook.
They love these characters. They want to see a song about this. We need to have 10 songs in this. Everybody needs something. Let's just like I could almost imagine them going to the writer and going like, listen, here are the songs we wrote. Now write a plot around it. Like I can imagine them sort of starting with like, we want to
actually make sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I've heard stories like that, right? Like
some of it doesn't make sense.
I heard there's a screenwriter talking about who worked on Kung Fu Panda, where they like in the sequel, they're like, so here are the action scenes. Get us there.
Yeah, that makes sense. If I'm the writer, I'm like, I think we shouldn't have written a song about a junkyard in the last movie.
Right.
If that's the case. Or if I'm the writer, I would have said, do we have any songs in this movie?
And,
They
yeah,
said, nope.
and they would be like, they'd go, "That's great, that's fine. We'll get a new writer." And you're like, "No, wait, stop."
Picture this high school reunion.
Yeah.
It's a psychological thriller. And they're like,
No.
hey, fuck you, you cynical dick.
Yeah,
Go back to podcasts.
yeah. But that's all to say. This movie though doesn't have enough songs,
No,
so
doesn't.
it feels weird. Where I'm like, what was the cynical corporate goal? Because it's like,
make money.
if you want, like High School Musical, they're probably like, we can release the soundtrack, right? We can make money this way and this way and this way off the songs. This one, there's no song, so I'm like, is there something we're missing? Like, what if this was in line with like a fashion, like line?
I'm gonna guess that they wanted to see, is there any more air in the tires of Sharpay Evans?
Maybe,
like,
yeah.
meaning like, is this a character who could have their own series?
Yeah, their own spin-off.
And
like, we're testing the waters. It felt expensive. I didn't look it up, but
I'll look it up. I'll look it up right now.
It's not as expensive probably as High School Musical 3.
No, definitely not.
But there's a lot more exteriors. There's a lot more grand sets.
High School Musical 3 is a lot.
I guess it is
better.
still just all the same. Yeah,
a lot better in terms of
CGI
production.
basketballs in this one.
It's direct to video. This didn't get released in theaters. It's.
I think it might be. I think that probably what it comes down to is they're just like, we need one. Make one. What's it about? I don't care. Make one. Do we have? Can we have a lot of songs? No, not really. Like it probably is just like, listen, you have this budget. We want a Sharpay spinoff. Make it happen. What's it about? I don't know. Put some dogs in it. Make it cute. That would be fun. Make the dogs in love. That would be fun. Do we have a himbo? Let's stick a himbo in there. I think ultimately, it's just like you said. We need a spinoff.
Yeah, Ashley Tisdale is an EP on this.
Interesting.
So she was kind of she was in a lot of stuff before High School Musical.
I think ultimately these movies are a series of nihilistic acts combined with, we need to hit these specific commercial beats. Yeah, and as long as we hit those beats, we're fine.
It's nobody's favorite movie.
There's no auteur at play here.
No, definitely.
There's no one with a grand vision.
No.
I think it's a scattershot. I think you'd get on set and Ashley Tisdale would go like, I think it'd be funny if I did this. And they'd go like, yeah, I don't see why not.
Sure.
I think of, there's a story about Patrick Stewart when he made Star Trek Next Futurama. That's the podcast. Oof. Star Trek The Next Generation, where the first season, apparently he was a real hard ass because he's a dedicated actor.
Yeah.
And when he realized, oh, this is going to keep going for potentially years and years and years, I need to have fun. This is a job that I'm just going to be doing every day. I don't have to worry about if it's perfect or not.
Right.
I get that vibe from this where I'm like, I bet they had a great time making this.
Yeah, she seems like I think
and
that Ashley Tisdale feels professional in every way. She feels like a pro. Yeah. Knows the world, knows how to do it.
I think they had a great time. I think they're like, listen, the tweens will love it. We don't have to do much. We don't have to think about it too hard. We're just, let's get through it. We don't need to hurt anybody making this movie. I hope that's what the mindset is for a movie like this, which is like, there's no need to hurt anybody making this movie.
There's not a lot of information about the budget. I'm looking at to see if it made $7 million in DVD sales after 6 weeks. That's probably
fine. Yeah.
It looks like they've made about $9 million on it. As of whenever
they got your money. They got your $4.
Yeah, fucking yeah. She probably got notified by that.
You might be. Yeah, I was gonna say you might be the last person to buy.
Can you believe that shit?
Holy shit!
I can't believe I can't. I have Disney Plus. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, you should have. You should have used it.
No, I'm not right. I was trying to. I thought I found the actual budget was 11 million, but that doesn't look.
We're all right.
It doesn't look like it's a pretty cheap movie. It didn't make anywhere near the kind.
Yeah, I assume a couple mil.
Yeah, I think this was a strategic release.
The most expensive was probably they went out and shot at New York, or even the backlot at Universal for a day.
They were never in New York for this.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah,
have-
you're right. We never really see New York, do
No.
we? We never see like a New York's
They have
skyscraper or any like we see the Statue of Liberty as a person. You're right. New
Yeah.
York is not in this movie.
No.
I bet it's the Universal backlot or the Disney backlot.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you're right. This is probably a dirt cheap movie, probably $2 million.
Yes. So I guess it's probably important. I'm looking to see if there's anything about the production. Yeah, it was filmed in 2010 in Toronto, Canada. So we're wrong.
Oh.
Someplace. Yeah.
That explains the Canadian in it.
They shot for a month and 6 weeks, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was so we finished.
So
with
there
the
is
movie.
one scene at the end.
I was gonna say, what is the scene with
Yeah.
Ryan?
So here's what happens. We cut to newspaper clippings, and Sharpay is just thrilled about how successful she is. There's a knock at the door, and then Ryan's on the other side of the door, but they sing a song from one of the other High School Musicals that was their song, and I forgot that. So I was like, who is this person? I thought it was like a new song she had with Austin Butler, but she opens the door. It's Ryan. He's excited. They're excited to see each other. And then he's like, you're a success. I'm also a successful performer in a musical. This is going great. And then she leaves the room at some point, and he lays on her bed, and the bed collapses into the wall.
Okay, I forgot about that joke.
Yeah,
the Murphy bed.
So they got a Murphy
That's the
bed joke
callback.
out of it. Yeah, callback. The problem is that him saying that he was a successful musical performer completely undermined everything they did in this movie.
Yeah,
because it's like, then why didn't you make a fucking phone call? What
exactly.
are we doing here?
Come stay at my apartment. I'll hook you up. I'll let you here. I'll introduce you to my people.
Yeah.
It's wild, because I get it, because I think again they want to know how Ryan's doing, right? Like they don't seem to think Ryan's a main character material. So they're like, okay, well, let's sit down. How's Ryan doing? I think he's doing fine. And they're like, yeah, let's make him be doing fine. And so let's write a scene where he comes in and goes, hey, I'm also doing good. And don't worry about me. Fan base, Ryan heads. Yeah, I'm doing good too.
Don't worry, right, guys.
This is a Thanos situation where you'll see more of me. If you're into the Ryan's here. He's doing great. End of movie.
I couldn't want,
and you're right, that undercuts the whole fucking thing.
I couldn't have wanted Austin Butler to show up more. I wanted Austin Butler to show up and for him and Ryan to stare each other down in this very who's the real lover way.
Yeah. Fight over her.
Yeah.
You know what I want?
He goes full Dune 2 on him. You know what I mean? Like stabs him to death. That's what
I want. Close up of Sharpay.
Yeah.
And she says, we did it, Ryan. Pull out cemetery. She is talking to Ryan's grave.
Yeah, obviously.
And it says, Ryan killed in the war.
If they ever did High School Musical reunion, I do think Sharpay's character is the most interesting one to check in with.
Yes.
I still think that.
I think Sharpay, yeah. I don't, successful or not, I could see her as because I think they also, if you remember, they're in their vision of their future, they wanted to go to Hollywood.
Right.
So that's what's extremely, I think it's smart that they went to Broadway, because
She's
is the
musical theater.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think we should scratch that itch.
I agree.
I think
this should be a movie.
The reunion
yeah.
should be like Albuquerque, obviously, but I think there should be she's big Hollywood star, or someone's a big Hollywood star now,
dude,
and they're big timing everybody else. But I would love it to be from Sharpay's perspective.
It should be that fucking dinner party at the end of Mulholland Drive. She's just there with Austin Butler, and they're having this love affair, and then we're just cutting to the kid that's the baker and her brother and Zac Efron, and they are fucking disjointed and sad.
Yeah. No, I want we start in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
Sharpay's doing cocaine in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
And her relationship with Himbo is it's kind of falling apart, maybe.
Yeah.
And she gets this email high school reunion, and she's not going to go, obviously.
Yep.
But maybe she starts thinking about Zach, about Troy.
Yeah, Troy.
And she's she wants to have
Troy's
an affair. Up to. Yeah.
And
she goes back, and it's in ruins. It's
Oh,
just
they
not
bulldozed
doing
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He is as jacked as he is in Iron Claw, but it's
Mhm.
because he's doing like, he's doing workout videos now.
Yep.
And roids on the side. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he
And
is
it's just like, yeah,
Hulk.
everybody's
He's a Hulk now.
right.
But he's dried out like the wrestler.
Yes.
You know?
Just like he's living in a trailer park.
What happened to my musical / basketball career? Well, I got a knee injury.
Gabrielle left him long ago.
Oh, long ago. Yeah, she's doing science experiments with her new lover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need that. I think from like we've said it from the start, Sharpay is the most compelling character of all of this.
Completely.
Because she was very unhinged and very like fun to watch.
I can't tell you how
more complex than everybody else,
I can't tell you how excited I would get if I learned there was going to be a High School Musical reunion and that it was going to get real.
Yeah,
like I would be really excited about. Like that's the kind of shit I want Hollywood to do.
Excited,
like
because
like,
that's the thing.
Yeah. I want that. I want that to happen.
Yeah, to grow up with the kids like the Harry Potter movies did,
and to do something really heavy and interesting.
Because the fans are adults now.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, might as well.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you can't make it if you're the people who made High School Musical. You need somebody else who thinks differently about what this is about. Like you need a James Cameron version of it, right? Where it's like you can't do like an Aliens 2 version, right? Where it's like it's not going to be what it was. If you want like that's why High School and musical go together, because there's so much hope and dumb optimism. High School Musical reunion, there's some reality that's set in, man. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
life is something particular now.
Yeah, we need like I don't know the writer. We need like Greta Gerwig doing this.
Yeah. That makes some sense. Even Wes Anderson could have done it.
Yes,
Greta Gerwig's a better call. I agree with that.
Yeah, because I think this movie, my hope was that there'd be a little bit of exploration, and of course the reveal is like, no, it's just the same. It's just they want to make Sharpay money. Makes it. Yeah,
they want to make money,
and it's just every time there's a chance of like, okay, we're following Sharpay. That's an interesting choice, After watching the first three, it's like we're following the villain essentially. This is Joker, and it's like, okay, well, what are we gonna see with that? And it's like, she wants to make it, she makes it. Dogs fuck. The end. We wet some dogs. We get out of there.
Wets down those dogs.
And so, like my high school reunion musical should be what we're saying, but it'll probably be the other thing, right? They're not going to genuinely have fun watching like adult Zac Efron play Troy again.
Me too. That's what I mean.
That would be so fun.
It would be so satisfying to watch actual actors think about Austin what they
Butler,
did.
I would want him there.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
They're not.
They can't afford to make it. They can't afford it.
No.
None of these fuckers are going to show up. They have to spend. But like, the thing is they could spend the money, do the work, and it would make money. I'd be there. It would make money. I'll be there opening day with all the other fuckers.
If you heard they had done this and that they were like really trying something weird with it, I think that would intrigue a huge audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they were like, this is sort of like the Knives Out version of High School Musical reunion.
Yeah.
You'd be like, that sounds fucking amazing. Like that's exactly the kind of property we shouldn't be precious about.
It would be a great little meta idea that might even attract people who don't know the movies.
Of course. Like, I think these things were never really precious. I get that they make money. I get that people love them, but they're not Star Wars or something that is a movie lore. So like, that's where I'm like, this is the kind of shit we should be playing, experimenting. What could we do with it? You know? Like instead of remaking Harry Potter the series or remaking Twilight the series, which, okay, that's a different decision. This is the kind of thing like try something weird with this. Why not?
Yeah.
What could it hurt? Nothing.
We need more. Yeah. We need more of this like shake and bake. Let's fucking change it up. I would argue like when this happens, people always turn against it. Like I'm not saying it was a good movie, but the new Joker was a musical and it's like fans hated it.
Did you watch it?
No, but they also never. I knew it was a musical, but they didn't tell anybody it was a musical. Yeah. And it's like if you're gonna do it, you have to tell people that's what you're doing, and maybe then people will go like, "Oh, that's neat. Let's give that a shot." You know what I mean?
That just seems so antithetical to what that first Joker movie was.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I don't
think
hate that idea. It's just like, wow.
I think there were more problems with it. Like I
Sure.
can't put it all on the musical part, but I as of recording this, I never watched it,
Okay.
so I don't know. But
you
all
will
to say
you
that,
will
like,
watch it someday. We all know that.
yeah, when it's free.
Yeah, you're watching it.
It's all to say that studios hate it when they do something like this because it never works out. Because fans are terrible. I'm not saying people who are fans of things are terrible. I'm saying the concept of fandom is terrible. It's unconditional love for a product. And or well, it's not unconditional. I guess that's the problem. It's unconditional love for a product so much as it stays exactly what you're imagining.
As long as it's static in the world and only what I think of it. And it has to get more and more fan servicey, which means less and less compelling dramatically.
Yeah, and at least that's the current state of fandom. And so it's like I think people would reject it because it's like the people who would like it aren't seeing it, and the people who are seeing it won't like it.
You're saying this is the result of our musical idea, of our reunion idea?
I think any idea like this, yeah. Ultimately, the problem is selling it.
You have to,
but I think the one advantage this has is the fans have grown up. So it's like, it's sort of like if you present it as a novelty. Like I think more studios should go for this.
I just don't think
they would.
So like, I think Disney would absolutely take the risk of anything to get High School Musical back in the zeitgeist. High School Musical was a massive success for them. Like it was a huge hit on no money.
Yeah, I think the more likely thing they'll do is just reboot it.
Well, that's what they've already done. That's what the series was, right? Like that's what
I think they'll just keep. They'll do that. This is the problem where I agree that this could it's not the idea's fault. It's the studio's fault. So so they're thinking safe. They would never do this because of safety. But if they did do it, they would be ashamed of it. And they wouldn't. They would try to like.
Yeah,
exactly. But and that's the problem.
It's probably because it's Disney. It's just like one of those things where it's because they won't do stuff like this that these things have shorter shelf life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's because it's like Disney is the biggest corporation trying to keep intellectual IPs from having creative new expressions. Or from continuing the idea. Like they're the number one company doing that. We want to hold on to Mickey Mouse. We want to hold on to Winnie the Pooh or whatever, right?
Right.
And yet I would argue being loose with your canon in these like less important franchises is good for the longevity of your content. Like for instance, I don't need a Mickey Mouse movie. Do you need a Mickey Mouse movie?
No.
But if somebody made a Mickey Mouse Rambo,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I'd be like,
or the Goofy movie.
Yeah,
which was like a weird road trip movie.
Yeah,
about him and his son, where you're like, wow, what a weird thing to do, but like it works.
But it was cool, and they made a whole series on that. I want to say.
No, I agree. This is how you keep things alive. The only people who seem to have some ounce of understanding that is Marvel. Weirdly,
yeah, Marvel seems to get it. Yeah,
that's because they'll make the meta stuff. It's still ultimately Disney, but they'll change things up.
Like to me, it's like if you're the Disney Channel and all you make is kids stuff, and you're like, okay, well, we made this pretty successful kids stuff in this block of time. It was a 5-year block of time, and then 20 years passes. What's the harm in spending $15 million on an idea like that? That at worst is going to make its money back.
Right. I genuinely don't understand that because it's like you have all the money in the world. Can't you even just do something to celebrate that you did it?
Yeah, instead of having to redo it.
I get it because the answer is because then we wouldn't have all the money in the world. How do you think we got so rich? No, but it's like, but treat yourself.
I would argue that isn't how they got so rich, actually.
Yeah, it's true.
Like I think it's the opposite of how they got so rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, of course, I'm a filmmaker, and as are you, and an artist. So we don't.
Listen, if a Disney executive is listening, we'll do this for you. We'll write.
Dave, I'm not fucking around. I would write High School Musical reunion.
Me too.
Like as long as we got to really go for it.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like
total creative freedom. And listen, if you're concerned, I'll say this right now: we will wet them.
Yeah,
we'll
I'll wet them down.
We'll wet them
That's
in every scene.
I gotta
every scene, someone gets wet.
Oh yeah, and like I wouldn't do the bullshit where like everybody hooks up or whatever. I would not do that.
No,
I mean, like I don't want to ruin it. I want to legitimately comment on it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that is interesting to me. Yeah. Or like just sort not
like,
even meta, but just like
totally
this is what life is.
Like,
you know, like this is and like watching them have to deal with that. Like it's the equivalent of the golf course screaming song, but a whole movie of that. You know what I mean, which I think we can agree is the best moment in this franchise so far.
Yeah. If we had to like, so I think we should
like do a
because even
like
if we if we do if we do the internationals, it's not the same. And I would say
like what have we learned here?
I mean, favorite song and favorite moment. I think it's for me. It is the golf course.
Oh yeah,
that is the peak.
Yeah, I think every movie had at least one thing that was like, no way, man. Like the third one, the junkyard. You can't discount the junkyard. You just can't.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what is the wildest offer these movies made. So the thing I still think about is, and I know it didn't disturb you as much, is that satanic dinner with the candles and the pictures of them. Go back and do yourself a favor. Go on Disney Plus this time.
And
watch just that scene
and see if
it is a haunting little scene. There's something very off about that scene.
I agree. The first movie is getting to be a while ago since we watched it. It's been like a month now.
The 2-minute class.
The 2-minute class is
and
insane.
That was very fast.
Also, the constant, if I remember it correctly, like, aren't there constantly people looking at kids in the shower in that first movie?
There's people scheming. There's constant scheming. People hiding behind things and scheming.
Oh no! The first movie, the thing is like her walking past is Sharpay walking past Gabriella and not seeing her in the bathroom.
Yes.
Nothing will ever top that. It's like,
that is a huge,
unbelievable.
The first one is the most like The Shining with the geography, where you're like, I don't understand. It's the most where the school feels like it's haunted by these kids.
Yeah.
The second one is more about the fucking, remember the slave adult, the adult servant who hates children.
Oh yeah, but I love Sharpay. Is in love with Sharpay.
Yeah, that was haunting. The wetness.
Lots more wetness.
Peak wetness.
That's where you realized it was a thing they were doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it makes me want to watch the first one to look for it when they wet them down.
It happens. Trust me.
Yeah. And then, of course, his song is incredible.
Whose song?
And this is
the golf course song. Yeah.
And then the fact that you realize that Sharpay just can't get a fucking break. I already felt bad for her in the first one. The third one, I feel like the thing that really stood out for me was when I realized that the movie did not understand what wealth is. I mean, we knew that from the second and first.
Yeah.
But it started to really hammer it home.
Yeah.
And then not understanding how schools work.
Yeah, just like early access to Stanford.
Yeah,
but then she comes back to graduate. What are we talking about?
And her moving out, I think, was the wildest logistical moment for me. Is when she packs up her
the house is gone.
Yeah, that was the wildest fucking moment. That was like the moment where I went, "What? Like, what is happening? She's leaving?
Yeah,
the packing up the house." That was when it was like, you don't understand. And then this one for me, it's the fact that the dog is already at the audition or at the rehearsal. That for me was a mind-breaking moment where it was the realization that the world, it's always these moments where you realize the world works in a fundamentally different way
than ours does.
Yeah,
I agree. This one didn't have something as incongruous in an obvious way as the first three did.
Yeah, I think it's important when I'm pointing this out because I think there's a level of we're doing some cartoonish humor here and there. I think it's the stuff where it's not played as a joke.
Yes.
Where none of these things we're pointing out were meant to be jokes.
Correct.
And so it's just like, what were they thinking?
Yeah, what was the actual logic of this? I would say this is the second best franchise we've reviewed so far, Dave.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like it's better. It's definitely better than Blood Rain, right?
So was Blood Rain the worst?
Yes,
I think
from an entertainment value. Yes.
Yeah, I did not enjoy the first one's fine. and then the second two were like,
These are really bad
God.
movies. Yeah.
I think it's
there was nothing as purely entertaining in this franchise as the children being hung in the mousetrap thing in the second Blood Rain movie. That was an all-time great moment for all of us.
But then there's 50. So we've done 4, right?
This is our 4th franchise. Yeah.
So we've done
Twilight.
So Twilight's the best.
Nothing's touched it yet.
To me, this is like I'm competing this with 50 Shades because 50 Shades was pretty fucking weird. It was less like bizarre filmmaking moments.
It was
more
less
just
fun.
like, yes,
like
you're right. You're right. It was less fun.
It was stupider though. Like it was a lot stupider.
Yes.
You know, like this movie, but franchise,
it was less basic logistical issues.
Yeah, which I bet if I was listening to the podcasts, I would think that 50 Shades was better because of the tangents it allowed us to go on.
It also it's a more like noteworthy thing.
Yeah,
but I do think I might put this before it. I think I might go Twilight, High School Musical, 50 Shades, and Blood Rain.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's nice to know that there's 4 more of these we have to watch.
I know.
Are we? I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe
are we going to do?
Maybe we already did. I don't know when we're recording this. When we'll do Dr. Shavag Bros.
Oh, we are going to do Shavag Bros. Okay.
I don't know if that's before or after. If we have to rate that, I mean,
that might be a fucking epic undertaking. Like that could be a multi-part thing on one movie.
I know.
Like I've seen that movie this year. I saw, and it's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
But also there's plenty to talk about.
Yeah, just the filmmaking behind the scenes alone, they played it real fast and loose. I'm pretty sure an old lady got hit by a train while they were filming it.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I mean,
they lit a tire fire. Remember the scene where there's like a flaming city? Or there's like a distant fire.
Yeah.
They lit a tire fire in the woods. This was the 70s, baby.
So we didn't give a whatever. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. They were still murdering animals on film in the 70s.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit.
Yeah, Apocalypse Now put an end to that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fascinating.
We will have to do these other. We'll have to do Guy School Musical International, and I'm sorry. I think we'll have to do Air Buds. I really think we might have to.
Fuck, man.
Because I know there's at least one batshit moment in an Air Bud movie.
Every movie, right?
Yeah, but I know that there's a GIF going around where someone tackles the dog, and it's a dummy dog getting tackled, and he goes hard. Like in the reality that like he would kill the dog, like you're watching a dog die, but that's not what happens. So like that's the thing. You don't think about this with Air Bud, which is that imagine playing sports and they're like, today you're playing against a dog and you're playing like football and you're like, I'm going to tackle that dog. I don't give a shit. But you're the enemy. You're the villain, right? Like imagine playing a sport against a dog that you have to rough up. You're like, it's not fair. Like I don't
want to hurt this creature. I have like 150 pounds on this thing.
Exactly. But we're playing a sport and my career
is on the line here. I gotta crush this dog.
This is fucked up.
I gotta do it.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's very clear that will be good for us. Like you and I will have a good time. So sure, okay.
Yeah.
Air Buds, I guess. Air Buds seems a little obvious.
It does.
Podcast
it's right there in the name.
Let's look at it. Hold on. Let's look and see if there is a podcast. Films? Oh, dude, they're like an hour and a half, I bet.
Okay.
Air Buds is a basketball lifestyle podcast called Air Buds. Yeah. Apparently it's on iHeart. They're talking about NBA, WNBA, and Lonzo Ball's TV show. So it's like a legit NBA podcast.
Okay.
That's a surprise to me.
I'm not concerned.
That oh no, I'm not. Oh, there is Air Buds, a family show. They watch all the Air Bud movies.
Yeah, but not like us.
Sure. Well, we'll have to come up with a better name, I think, so that people can Google it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What rhymes with
Josh Kramer and Lee Metzger are on an adventure in the Buddyverse where they watch every movie made under the Air Bud Entertainment umbrella.
That's so many movies.
That's a big endeavor. That's a huge endeavor.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, look,
We don't
Airbud-
have to. We'll have people vote, or we'll figure something out.
compared to what?
I don't know. Well,
We're not going to have a vote. We're just going to do it.
We're just going to do it.
Yeah.
We're just going to do whatever we decide.
Yeah. I mean, the question is, are we going to take a 2-year hiatus like we did this time?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no telling.
Yeah.
There's no planning these, right?
No, not really. I mean, it just depends on how busy you want to be, really. Yeah. Because,
depends on the new year. We could all be dead,
we
who
could
knows?
definitely all be dead, man. That's
Taking it one step at a time.
no question. Absolutely. No
Air
question.
Bud was finished filming in less than a month, according to trivia.
That's distressing
It
when you think
banged it
about
out.
what it takes to get a dog to do stuff.
The dog who played Buddy was also the dog in Full House.
Oh, yeah, the retriever.
Yep, dog died.
Yeah, of course.
Dog's
How
dead.
many dogs did they use for?
But
Air
would
Bud?
you be surprised to know the dog died shortly after the making of Air Bud?
I would not be surprised whatsoever.
1 year later, that dog was dead. Dead. It's gone.
1997. A lot of tragedies.
Yep.
Uh,
Dog
Yeah,
never
I-
knew about 9/11.
the beginning of the plot is after the death of his father.
Jesus Christ.
So we're really in for something.
Yep. Air Bud is described as a circus dog who escaped from a cruel master. I'm seeing here. So we're going to have to either on
Obviously, we're
podcast or
gonna have
just
to do it.
privately as private citizens, we're going to watch Air
Can you
Bud.
imagine?
I can't imagine it. I can imagine it.
All right. Well, sometime next year, I guess. Sometime
Yeah.
in 2025, maybe we'll do it.
I do believe the dogs start talking at some point in this series. I do not think it's in the first movie.
Oh, so this is like this thing evolves.
I don't know. I've never seen them. I just know that there's definitely talking dogs.
So is it like we get into their mind like Homeward Bound?
That's a great question.
You know?
I don't know.
Air Bud really does seem right for us to go. Like, I know that the connections are tenuous between this and 50 Shades of Grey, or like,
And yet
if you
they
thought
feel
about
so
it, and yet
Yeah.
I think High School Musical opened up a whole universe to us, Dave. Of like, who,
Possibility, yeah.
yeah, who like.
What are we allowed to do?
Well, it's sort of like once we've gone this far, what's next? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's not, like, yeah,
Man.
it's got to be something stupid. Like, what's stupider than High School Musical?
Yeah,
Which
Air
didn't turn
Bud.
out to be that stupid, I would argue. Like, it's not good, but I would say, but it's not dumb on like a Twilight level.
No, it's not Twilight. Remember how Twilight ended with a
Yeah.
giant battle?
Who
that
couldn't?
turned out to be in someone's imagination.
Everyone was doing stunners. It was
Yes.
it was an
A
hour of
wrestling
stunners.
battle. Yeah, where and then it pulled down. And he's like, "That's what's going to happen
Yeah,
if we fight." And
And
the
I
guy
love
should
it.
go like, "Yeah," the guy should be like, "What? We're going to do wrestling moves?
yeah,
Let's do it."
yeah. That seems really fun. That is the coolest move in wrestling. I know that.
Yeah,
Like
truly
yeah,
a weird
that's how it ended.
film series.
Remember the whole movie where the plot was I don't know how to have sex with my wife without killing
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. We
How
should
do
do a
I-
Twilight podcast. here's what I'm proposing. We do Guy Light, same
Yeah, yeah.
logo,
Yeah,
same intro,
yeah.
and we talk almost word for word about the same stuff, but our inflection is the only thing that you could tell apart.
Yeah,
So
reboot
people will listen to it and feel like is this the podcast I remember?
it. Yeah, did
you
we
know,
do it?
like-
yeah.
Yeah, like it feels slightly different, but it's all the same.
And we give nothing away that would indicate time has passed.
Yeah. And we
Maybe-
just gaslight everybody.
I'll tell you what. Why don't we start over with the lighthouse? Because this
Mm.
all is the fault of the lighthouse.
It does feel like it.
You
Did
know?
we talk about Twilight in the Lighthouse?
That's where we got this idea.
Holy shit.
That Lighthouse podcast is, I think, one of the best things you and I have ever done.
It might be. I haven't gone back and listened to it, but I
It's
should.
like, it's where it's, first of all, Tom isn't there, which means we're completely misbehaving.
Yeah,
in
no
every way.
one is
Yeah,
keeping
one's in
us
charge.
on. Yeah.
The train is off the tracks. Like it's, we're
It starts. Yeah, I do remember we talk about burying Mario alive.
I had to listen to it again because somebody from my school recommended it to their students.
Oh no!
I was like, don't recommend any podcast I do with Dave to the students. I can't
Yeah.
have that, please. You know, like I don't
Terrible.
want. Yeah,
Terrible.
what a horrible
yeah.
idea. I can't believe I need to explain that to you.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like I understand it's film analysis, but like I don't want them to talk about. I don't want to have a dialogue with them about my opinions on 50 Shades of Grey. I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want them coming up to you and they know like some fucked up joke we
Yeah,
made
right.
that
Exactly.
I can't even begin to remember.
Exactly. Like, you know,
I don't want anybody-
you in your
yeah.
sex room. You don't want to run into somebody in real life. It's like, would you and Hannah get a sex room though? And you're
Right,
like, I don't know what you're
exactly.
talking about.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to tell me about the fugue state I was in a year ago. You know, where it's like when you get drunk, too drunk, you black out, and then
Yeah.
someone the next day is like, "I know a secret about you,"
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, great."
Yeah. What is it?
I don't want any of that.
Can you just tell me it? And they're like, no, give me $20.
Yeah,
Always.
I've seen a part of your body you weren't supposed to show anybody. And it's like, oh no. Oh no.
They know about second dick.
Oh no, second dick.
Oh no, second dick.
Oh shit.
This was I had a good time. So I'm
I had a good
gathering.
time.
It sounds like we're gonna hit the international thing in a couple months. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I think
Get back
we'll
to it
take a
in the
take
winter
a
or
rest
whatever.
and we'll get back to it
Yeah, that's fine.
because this is
What if those movies are just like dumb? You know
they
what I mean? Like,
probably are.
yeah, but like
What if
dumb
they're
in like a who
amazing?
cares way.
Because what if they're more like artistic or like, you know how foreign films tend to be like more artsy?
Have you seen stills of High School Musical China? It looks like it was filmed a lot better. I'll tell you that.
Really?
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
High School Musical China.
yeah.
Disney High School Musical China. It's also that's what it's called, which just feels weird. It does look better.
It does. I'm telling you. By the director
Yeah.
of Dark Matter.
Okay. Yeah, I mean this does look better. Yeah.
Dark Matter is a movie with Meryl Streep, Aidan Quinn, and Yi Lu.
Wow.
Never heard of that movie.
No. But that, I mean,
High School Musical China has a 4.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
right. But the question is, who is it for? I guess for kids in China.
I assume, right?
And maybe that's just not it for them. You know, maybe they're like,
Well,
what is this?
I could understand how High School Musical wouldn't travel that well to like internationally.
Yeah.
You know, like that does make sense to me, where you kind of each culture needs its own expression of what this
The
movie's
Argentina
about.
one looks
I didn't even know this was a thing.
fine, I guess.
Is it
Looking. It
Uh,
looks.
the Brazil
Oh.
one's the one I'm excited about?
What's that? What's that one's deal?
Well, it's based on a book, first of all.
Okay.
Uh,
okay.
It's one of 3 film adaptations of a script written by Pablo Lago and Susana Cardoso, based
plot
on the
is put
book
in
Battle of the
parts.
Bands.
Yeah, on Wikipedia, it's explained. The plot is explained in parts, like it's an epic,
Yeah,
like it's a Tarantino film.
it's in Portuguese. I don't know if there's a dub version of it or if we're gonna use
We'll figure it
subtitles.
out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll learn the language. I think.
What if we
worst
don't
case
come back to
scenario-
this for a couple years? What if it's like you and I are like, let's go do Airbuds,
Yeah,
and then
Airbuds
we'll
for a
like
while.
hit up the fucking International High School Musical
see
in
why not.
2025.
I kind of want to watch these without subtitles and just try to.
What do I
guess.
know? Yeah, what
Yeah.
happened? Yeah,
I bet we'd figure it out.
I
I
don't know
bet
if-
we'd figure it out.
I don't know if we'd hit the 3-hour mark on that podcast, Dave.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
You're right.
by what we went long on these. How did we do that?
I don't know. What's our average time?
I don't think we hit
Guy
3
Light was
hours
like
on
4
any of the other
hours.
ones.
Guy Light, I
Light
think
was
hit-
long. Yeah. But Guy Light didn't start out at 3-hour episodes. We like worked up to that.
Yes.
You know, we've hit 3 hours twice now,
Yes.
maybe 3 times. Like these are dumb and long. Like
So.
that's why it'd be funny if Dr. Javabros we did an hour podcast. You know what I mean? Like it's just like short.
So
You
thanks to IMDb, because our podcasts are on IMDb.
No.
Guy Light Breaking Down Part 2, 2020, 3 hours and 51 minutes.
Wait, what? Wait, Guy Light's on IMDb?
All the Gamefully Unemployed podcasts are listed on IMDb. I don't know who did it. I assume it was AI. Like I assume they just it's released. Our release date was June 30th, 2020 in the United Kingdom. It says,
So that tells you who did it. Somebody in the United Kingdom.
Some British. Well, thank you. Thank you to you beautiful British person for putting this on. So we'll always know.
I
want to
have
add someone add trivia. All right, someone add trivia.
Wait, I don't have that, Dave.
IMDb, I'm on it.
I'm on IMDb. I'm not seeing it.
I'll link it to you. I'll send it to you.
Skylight. Am I insane?
We're on Zoom. I just sent it on the Zoom chat.
Okay. I mean,
someone put a trivia on this. Slap a trivia.
Oh, okay. So it's gainfully unemployed first. Okay. So
yeah. Someone slap trivia that just says like wet 'em up. Put wet 'em up trivia on IMDb.
By the way, if you're still listening and you'd like to let us know, please tweet or X or Blue Sky, wet that dog.
Wet that dog. Yeah.
Wet that dog.
Wet up that dog.
Wet
make it
that
good
dog.
And moist.
Yeah, 3 hours and 51 minutes was the last episode.
That's too long.
That's awful. That's really awful. So somebody's meticulously updating your episode guide for Gamefully Unemployed?
I don't know. Like I said, I imagine there's some sort of automated system. You know, like our podcasts show up on Spotify. No one asked them. You know? I don't know. I don't know what darkness is out there.
Damn, there's a Hypecast from April 10th, 2020 that I did.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea what that would have been. Like
no.
That's like right when the pandemic started, Dave. What the fuck could we have even been talking about?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Do they have
insane.
it linked to my... Let's see if they link them to my... We're just IMDbing ourselves. Let's see. Do I have...
I haven't looked at my IMDb
I don't have... I got to link myself to Gamefully Unemployed via IMDb. I have actor credits, couple actor credits, couple writing credits.
What have I got? Let's see.
Well, I do have one self. What's my one self? Oh, Behind the Bastards. All right. That's cool. That's cool.
Oh, I got Sanibel is listed now, so that means my director must have done that.
Someone on my IMDb trivia put wet them dogs on my trivia.
Yeah. Wet them dogs.
Wet them dogs. I want that. I want that for me.
I have so few of my directing credits on here.
You should update it.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't want to go through and put 500 fucking things on here.
Got to update it. Update that IMDb, then they'll find you, you know? Then they'll know.
Then they'll know. Finally, people who are looking for IMDb for directors will be like, oh.
Yeah.
A thing not a single person has ever done.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Not one person.
Are we done?
I guess.
Is that it?
How long did we do it?
It's like a 3-hour podcast about Sharpay's fat. That you could have watched the movie twice.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been as good as this.
No, absolutely.
I can't believe
had fun.
Oh, yeah. I've never, again, I don't think these movies are bad enough to not have fun.
Yeah.
I really don't. I really don't think
I don't think this is like get together with your friends, watch a movie, party. You know, it's not one of those.
Not unless this is like part of your part, like if you have emotional connection to this, like as a kid, I'm sure High School Musical plays great for people who loved it at that age for like the rest of your life. You know what I mean? It's like Grease. You know how like there's a certain generation of people that fucking love Grease?
My sister loved Grease. Yeah.
Grease 2.
Fine. We watched Grease 2 a lot.
Yeah, Grease is fine. It's better than this.
Superior Grease.
Grease 2 is also fine.
Yeah.
But I think it matters more if you're nostalgic for it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think this is like supposed to be capturing a time to be nostalgic for, and that time is like a time that you and I weren't in high school. So
Agreed.
like I look at this and I'm like, surely this isn't what high school looked like. But I bet it's more about, you know, when I watch movies that take place in the 90s, it doesn't look like what high school looked like.
Unless that movie is Kids.
Yeah.
Kids is grim and realistic.
That's our High School Musical.
Yeah,
Kids. Should we do Kids? Should we do a Kids podcast?
Kids.
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 Yeah, that's what it'd be called. Fuck, man, that's a terrible idea. That's one of the worst ideas we've ever had.
I don't think I've
And
fully
we did a
seen that movie.
Philadelphia podcast.
Yeah, we did that, didn't we? Didn't we do a
Yeah.
Philadelphia? Yeah.
We haven't done kids.
We haven't-
I've only seen that movie once.
If I
It's the
saw
exact
it,
amount of time anybody sees kids.
yeah, if I saw it, it was at Blockbuster when it came out in like
Yeah.
1999 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
When did that movie come out? It was
I
yeah.
don't know.
I know that
It's a high school movie.
Oh, it's 95.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Everybody
know.
check out Kids.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody
All
check
you
out
young
Kids.
people, check out Kids. Do High School Musical, then Kids. Back to back, double feature. High School Musical and Kids. In that order.
Oof.
Yeah, fuck it.
Oof.
Drive it all.
Is that
drive
movie
it
even
all
out?
to
Can you
hell.
even see Kids now?
Yeah, probably.
I don't think you can. How old is Chloe Sevigny? She's 49 now. She was born in 74. She was 21 when Kids was made.
Yeah.
Okay. Because for some reason I thought it was like Blue Lagoon where it like had an underage kid in it or something.
It's got some crazy things about it.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what they were. I don't want to. It's
Google
got
that.
a lot of darkness.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a lot of darkness in the movie Kids,
Yeah.
both on the screen and off.
Yeah, I've heard.
It's a very unfortunate film.
That
Kids.
doesn't seem like something that you and I should cover, Dave.
No, we just
I don't think
dragged
we
this
need-
podcast down.
I don't think
We just grabbed this podcast by the face and dragged it into the abyss.
that's what we like. Oh, have you had a lot of fun? Here's 10 minutes of darkness. You know what I mean? Let me
So he's popping this on. Like, ooh, I hope they talk about kids. I hope they talk about the movie Kids.
Here's
in
a
this
chaser.
podcast.
Here's a Kids chaser. Were you looking for that?
Holy shit!
You know, like that seems like the
Does
appropriate
this make you
connection.
happy? Did you want kids? Did you want them to look at their own IMDb's and talk about kids a little bit?
Here's the things we added that weren't in the movie today, Dave. Just a real quick recap. We added poker. We added
We sure did.
Kids. We added our own IMDb pages. We added our plans to watch Air Bud.
Yeah.
That's all. We are
should.
awful
Yeah.
hosts.
I'm not sure none of this can cut out too.
No, of course
This
not.
is just what it is. You have to fucking deal with it. Holy shit.
I feel like this is the point of the podcast where we either get a new topic and just go for that for a while, or we like, all right, we did our best.
Oh god. Holy shit. Kids.
Kids. I vaguely remember that movie. It's more that I remember its reputation.
It's not great.
No, yeah, it's like, well, but it's one of those independent films that everybody remembers, right? Yeah.
Yes. As being terrible. Or
Yeah.
as being
It's being
devastating,
devastating.
rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Requiem for a Dream, a movie you
Yes,
watch
exactly.
once,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Requiem for a Dream is underrated for a one-time watch.
Yes.
Like
it's
that's
a perfect one.
very high on your one-time watch list.
Yeah.
Has to
You
be.
do that. You do Kids. You throw in
Koyaanisqatsi.
Mother. Yeah.
Yeah, Mother's a one-time watch. Absolutely. A lot of Aronofsky's films are one-time watches.
Oh yeah. Throwing Noah. Is that what it's called?
I saw Noah.
That's
yeah.
not Noah.
Noah is not bad. It's fine.
I thought it was fun too.
Yeah, I thought it's fine.
I thought it was pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird that someone gave him money to make that.
Well,
Like I feel like there was a lot of confusion.
I think it's
making
weird they
Noah.
gave him money to make that.
That's what I mean.
you
Like
know?
it's weird
Why does
that
the
like
Aronofsky want to make Noah?
it feels like at one point they thought they were making like a big Hollywood film, and then they're like, "Why? Wait,
it is a big
Aronofsky."
Hollywood film.
Yeah,
It
But it's
is
Aronofsky.
that. Yeah, but it's also Aronofsky. So it's like, why did you do that?
why did you do that?
That's
Yeah.
why it's like, well, what if, Ryan Johnson was like, I want to make High School Musical Reunion. Like that's
Yeah,
a guy
say
who
yes.
could get that made.
Say yes, yeah,
Like, yeah, they should say yes to that. That would be a good movie,
Yeah.
Uh,
be amazing.
yeah. I just watched Gross Point. I'm actually writing a noir film that takes place in a high school reunion.
Ooh,
I wrote a draft of it. I'm now figuring out how to make it take place in a weekend. Like it
Yeah.
takes place over a couple weeks or a month now, and it's like, nah, it needs to be a weekend. And I watched Gross Point Blank in the pursuit of that, and because Gross Point Blank is a high school reunion movie, there's not that many
Right.
good ones, and it is kind of a big time moment in life.
Here's my pitch.
Yeah.
Is it a lot of characters?
Currently, it's a classic noir right now.
Is there
And
any way to keep going back to the start of the weekend narratively? To skip the time, do time skips. So you keep seeing the same sequences from different perspectives or
I
something.
love that shit when you can do it. It doesn't totally fit what this movie is.
Mm-hmm.
Because this movie is loosely based on something that allegedly really happened.
Right.
I don't think it really happened, but it's like based on a rumor in high school, you know, that I was like,
Right.
that'd be fun if we made a movie about that rumor in high school.
Yeah.
So
It's a good idea.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil the whole thing for. Actually, I'll give you.
How's
like
it end?
That is the
How's it
part I
end?
won't spoil for you.
Pitch me the ending.
The rough log line of it is that a guy who got himself into some trouble for some sexual activity, not
Mhm.
illegal, but just, you know, has to lay low, goes back home to his hometown to lie low, and finds out his high school bully was murdered by Satanists, and decides he's gonna investigate what really happened to try to like clear him, you know, like it's kind of a I'll feel better about myself if I do something good for somebody else kind of thing.
Right.
That's the vibe of it. So, and then it's, you know, it uncovers stuff about high school. Is the
That's
idea.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a draft of it that was too long. 160 pages. And
Oh, that's too long.
yeah. And
Cut
it was
40.
it was just also like when you do your first draft. Have you written a noir thing? Have you ever written a noir thing?
No.
So like a mystery noir thing where there's like clues that lead to this and like that kind of shit. It just gets to be like fucking like Orwellian. It's just so much stuff.
Right. I imagine it's like making a crossword puzzle in the sense that you have to pick the theme and you write in the theme, and then you have to write all the bullshit around the theme.
That's actually
how it has to fit.
That's actually what my girlfriend, who gave me some good notes, was saying I should do to strip it down, is like sort of clarify the theme more clearly and write to only clues based on that. And I was like, that might be smarter.
Yeah, good red herring or two. The thing about a red herring is they need to like be naturally put in.
Yes.
Or like the best type of exposition is the kind where you don't even realize that's what the exposition is.
Yeah.
Meaning that you take exposition and you make it exposition for another thing while also being exposition for the other thing, right? You double up the meaning.
Yeah, the entendre. Again, noir lives and dies in entendres.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a very difficult genre to write, and yet I'm really drawn to it. I really like it.
Yeah, when it's done well, it's great.
Well, I don't know if I've ever done it well yet. This is the second, this is the third or fourth crime movie. It's the third or fourth mystery, but the second noir, like straight up noir mystery I've written.
Right.
It's just hard. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to bore you with all that.
It's not boring.
Yeah.
Your brain isn't boring.
Thank you,
me.
Dave. I just think high school reunion is an interesting time to like think about what you did with your life.
I've never been to one. I didn't either.
I didn't go. Oh, really? Well, maybe yours.
Well, rather, I've always heard of them, but I've never met a person who's gone to one. They to me, they're like a movie trope that, as far as I'm concerned, never actually happens.
It definitely actually happens. I skipped mine.
Yeah.
So like I know they exist. I do think that it would be more interesting.
You think?
Well, I do think that a lot of people are sort of salvaging their self opinions. Yeah. So that stuff happens there because of that.
Right. Because I don't want to generalize people, but like my impression of people who are excited to go to a high school reunion, it's just like, why would you be excited for high school? Like, if you want to see old friends again, contact the old friends.
So my parents went to a high school reunion, and I do think that older generations were more
before Facebook.
Facebook has made reunions less necessary. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. The internet changed. Millennials killed high school reunions. That's what happened.
That's interesting.
Like, why would we ever want to? We can just see we can see how racist or not racist they are on Facebook or social media. Maybe now that Facebook has died, maybe we'll bring it back. Maybe the next generation will bring back high school reunions.
I don't know if Facebook has died yet.
It's,
I mean,
I don't know if it is either. I'm just saying that I don't think young people are on Facebook.
that's
don't-
100% true.
Yeah, and so
But their
that's what
thing
I'm
is they
saying
just buy the new app. That's what they do. They just buy what
right. But like the concept of a reunion might come back if they're all on the TikToks, fucking and sucking over there, and like then there's like, what a quaint idea, a high school reunion. Whereas our generation is like, what a nightmare. I can see them all day. They poked me. I see they liked this terrible fucking.
I super poked this one guy.
Yeah.
Really regretted it.
Yeah, like what everybody's up to. You've seen what they look like. Whereas I think the youth of tomorrow will maybe find that more appealing. And we'll circle back.
It would be interesting if, like, let me posit you this way. Imagine if in your high school you had
a musical.
Like Brad Pitt had gone, like you were classmates with Brad Pitt.
Right.
And then you hear Brad Pitt's going to be at the reunion.
But he would never do that.
I know
Brad
that.
would never.
I know that. That's why. Imagine if you heard that.
Right.
Would you think about going to the reunion?
Yes and no.
Yes,
because
but you would think about it.
I'd think about it, but I don't think I would ultimately, unless that's the thing is like, was I good friends with Brad Pitt? Because if I was good friends with him, I'd be more excited to see my good friend. But if he was just like a kid in the class, I'd be like, well, he's not going to give a fuck about me. So what's the point? For me to be like, hi, Brad. And he's not going to know who I am.
I think you're underestimating how most people feel. I think most people,
most people would want the spectacle of being like, oh, I get to see Brad Pitt.
Exactly. I'm like you. I'm like, I would never do that. That doesn't make sense to me. But I do think that a lot of people would go.
Yeah. I think if it was something that, a thing that appealed to me, like if a classmate ended up becoming a dinosaur and there was a dinosaur there, I would go see the dinosaur run around and like eat people. But like otherwise, Brad Pitt's not going to be fun.
No, I wouldn't enjoy it.
What I'd rather is go to a class reunion where one of them is married to Brad Pitt and makes him come.
Yeah,
yeah.
See,
unenthusiastic, miserable Brad Pitt.
He has to do it. Yeah, he has to deal with that. I agree with that.
And then I would bother him all night.
Right. Then he's forced to be civil enough that he's approachable.
Right.
It's not his triumphant homecoming.
His spouse. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes some sense. I asked that because I think that might be the dynamic I'm trying to create.
I'd smell him.
Oh yeah.
I'd wait till he's at a urinal and I'd smell him.
I got news for you. He's kind of out and around in LA these days. Like I think you could very reasonably run into Brad Pitt. I don't think that's far.
That would require me being out and around.
Well,
that's the problem there. I'm not out and around.
You're out and around sometimes.
I'm not out and around.
I've seen you out and around.
I'm not out and around. When I'm out and around, I'm in another enclosed area. I'm never out.
You never taken hikes through your neighborhood?
No. I go to Little Tokyo. That's the most we out and around.
He's
usually.
out there sometimes.
I mean, I'm going to Vegas. That's out and around, but he's not going to be there.
He could always be in Vegas. Anything's possible in Vegas.
Yeah.
What are your plans for Vegas?
To stay inside.
Really?
That's literally our plan.
Gamble?
Maybe.
Will you smoke cigarettes while you're there?
No.
You sure?
No, not positive.
Okay.
Because you can smoke inside there, so it's everywhere.
Exactly.
We're gonna just like worship the sphere. We're gonna sit in a hotel room, take some acid, worship the sphere as our new god.
That sounds
fun. New god. Yeah.
That sounds like how much money are you permitting yourself to gamble?
Well, I happened to get $200 in cash from poker night. Now, didn't I? Yeah. So there it is.
So you're going to spend that money on?
I probably not going to gamble that much. I do enjoy a good gamble, but I also don't want to be like a slot jockey. Well, like if Hana's into it, then maybe we'll gamble together. But like, I found that gambling in Vegas is like, it's good for a few hours at best.
Yeah. Abe and I went 10 years ago to Vegas, and we dressed up in suits like we were doing a real swingers,
Yeah.
And I think we both realized, we don't really want to do what Vegas is.
That's the problem with Vegas.
Like I don't.
You
really
walk around and you realize like you get hit on by random chicks on the street who are, sex workers usually, or they are promoting somewhere and they're like, it's this fakey hitting on where you're like, this is gross. I feel gross.
Yeah,
I'm a mark.
I didn't care for that. Yeah.
I'm a mark in Vegas.
I didn't.
And there's nothing genuine. And then there's some fun places. You have to know what you want to do and go there. Like I have an aunt that lives in Vegas, so she can be like, let's go here and then here and then here. And it's like you don't wander. You say like, this is what I'm going to see, and I know to see those things.
Yeah, I think a concert in Vegas seems like it could be a lot of fun. I think you can have 4 hours of fun in Vegas, like just skipping around, playing.
We're spending a night.
This and that.
It's 2 nights. That's it. And we're like, I know I'm going to be. I went for a bachelor party recently, and again, we had events, but I remember we went for I think 5 days, and on day 5, I was like, this is too many days.
Yeah,
we did too many days in Vegas. We ran out of things to do.
Yeah,
and we were all exhausted and old, and we just like, let's stay in the hotel and play poker.
But that does sound kind of fun, though. Like, I don't want to go out that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I could. Maybe there's a 2-day trip in Vegas.
Nice room, nice view.
Yeah,
and you go down. You eat out. There's some good places to eat.
Yeah.
Go to the Pepper Mill. Pepper Mill. Get some breakfast.
Yeah. The breakfast and buffets and shit are
check
great.
out Omega Mart.
Yeah.
Check out the area. It's not called Area 51. It's like Area 52 or something. Good, nice little area there. Go to like the Sphere if you want to. Fucking hotel, casino hop.
Are you seeing a show at the Sphere?
No, maybe. I don't know.
Like
we haven't. No, I mean there's
artists
like
in residence, right?
Yeah, you can go see videos. Like they have all day things, but nothing planned.
I mean, I know this isn't your band or anybody else's band, but I heard U2 was amazing in the Sphere.
I'm sure. I think everybody's amazing. Like Fish was playing, and I was like, I don't like Fish, but I would probably see them at the Sphere.
That seems like a good
like
venue
if it's at the Sphere. Darren Aronofsky has a special thing that he shot for the Sphere, so that's playing.
That's
and
probably,
I was like, maybe I'll see that. Yeah,
check that out.
I hope it's just like Mother. I hope it's really or Requiem for a Dream. I hope it's Requiem for a Dream, but on the Sphere.
Can you imagine? Can you hear me?
It's like you're right there. It's like you're right.
You know, like I got so like, and I don't mean this in a judgmental way. I'm genuinely curious. Who is the person that is thrilled by Vegas? Like, what is
20-year-olds?
And is it just like I can drink all night? I could smoke all night.
I think if you drink, I think if you're a drinker, the first time I went to Vegas, I played poker for 6 hours and had nothing but free drinks.
Yeah.
And then I took acid, and then I got 3 of my windows smashed on my car, and I had a great time. It was a great time. And so like it's that. It's like being young. Young is great for Vegas.
Yeah, I was too old. I missed the good era for Vegas. Yeah. Okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we solved it.
Yeah, I'll live.
You'll live.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not gonna die. Not from Vegas.
Not from Vegas.
Other stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, there's always other stuff. Heroin's always an option.
It's always an option. That's its motto.
That's
heroin.
It's
always an option.
That's the tagline for heroin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got a billboard in LA. Heroin, always an option.
Always an option. You know, you're like, yeah.
Some smiling guy with a tattoo on his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Some track marks.
Mm-hmm. Heroin.
I don't know. We're gotta be done.
We gotta be done. We're done. Did you plug anything?
Nah, I didn't
plug it.
All right. I think I'm still making the podcast linchpins in December of 2024. So see that. I think my movie Sanibel is maybe out to watch. It's gonna be out someday soon. We're supposedly debuting in late October. But the movie is about a hurricane, and I'm a little concerned that the hurricane may play very poorly in Florida.
It might also play good.
It might be amazing. Yeah, it's who can tell. I don't know. If I was a recent hurricane survivor, I don't know that I'd want to see a movie about that. But you know, it's playing in the Naples Film Festival in late October, so you can check that out.
Yeah.
You know, my noir screenplay will have a second draft someday soon, and then, you know, years after, maybe out. So look for that years after this.
Do it.
You know, and then all my podcasts on the Small Beans Network exist. I have so many. I have One-Upsmanship and Escape from the Multicurse, and I'll show you mine if you show me yours, and See a Space Pod Boys, and Director Piece Theater. So many. I do so much for your entertainment, and I love you all.
You asked for so little, man.
And all I ask back is attention and money. So, you know, decide if that can happen.
We bleed for you.
Yeah. Yeah. 3.5 hours for this.
Yeah.
I told
You're
you.
fucking welcome.
This is a 7-hour event. I told you, Dave.
You fucking welcome, guys. Fucking welcome. Enjoy the new year.
Yeah.
Enjoy 2025.
Yeah, is this like the first thing in the feed in the new year?
It probably is.
Wow.
Yeah.
What
This
a
is
horrible
Open
beginning.
it up. 2025, baby. We're here.
God,
Fuckers.
who knows who's getting presidented at this point? Like there could be riots happening right now.
Yeah.
You know? And then this would fit in that context, Dave.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is absolutely 100% playing
The jam.
in a blasted out fucking like an old diner.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like an
Just
old
fire.
Sinatra song and this over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's 2025, baby.
I did it my way.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
What are you plugging, Dave?
No.
No? What have you been writing?
Patreon.com/gamefully unemployed. You know the place. You're here. Check out our Patreon.
Yeah.
You love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that Denmark's economy is now the 7th largest in the world?
Yeah.
Because of Ozempic.
Yeah, I knew that. Good for them.
Did you know?
Slinging that O's. Slinging
Ozempic
the
has
O's.
changed their entire country.
That's fucking nuts.
That's insane.
Is it what did they have there? Like special trees that they're using?
I think it's just a patent thing. Like they just own the patent to it. You know?
I like my version better. That there's like a breed of dolphin they're slaughtering. Make it.
That's just like, this is how you really control the blood sugar.
Yeah.
You know, we got this like Teflon dolphin skin.
Skinny dolphin.
Yeah.
We just steal its fucking
It
blood.
eats fat fish all day, never gains an ounce.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, we got an ocean full of them, bro. You haven't been up here in 100 years. You don't know.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Ho, 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 ho.